So the far left, even though in my opinion, the far right and conservatives in general is worse than the threat of the far left right now. And I don't think that it should even be a competition. I like to think of them as the same, okay? The far left, Hassan's side is really just fascism anyway, okay? Hassan just supports another form of fascism. Like, you can't convince me that Stalin was like the opposite of Hitler, okay? That's why the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact was even a thing. Like, I have no doubt that Stalin was also like imperialistic as he probably also was super anti-Semitic. No, actually, no. It's a fact that Stalin is anti-Semitic. It's a fact that Stalin is more in common with Hitler rather than having differences with him, okay? And so is Lenin. Because I know that lots of people say that Lenin is like the good communist. That's not true, okay? Lenin still is like part of the purge on like the Bolsheviks taking over. The Russian Revolution was still spearheaded by Lenin, from what I remember. So like, I just don't think people like Lenin should get a pass either, just because like he's viewed as somebody who is like less bad than Stalin. It's like you're trying to compare two dictators with one another, and obviously one dictator is worse. There's always going to be a worse dictator, but I don't think that's the point. I think you're missing the big picture here. I don't know. If you try to focus on, oh yeah, well, I don't like Stalin, I just like Lenin. Like, what are you talking about? You realize they're kind of about the same, like close enough. I'm sure the lefties will disagree, but yeah. But also, like, this is important to bring up, just mainly because I think that history is always important to bring up in these circumstances because of how leftists frame themselves, okay? The reason why it's important to bring up is because leftists like to frame themselves as the people that are anti-fascist, but that's not true. They just want their form of fascism to prevail. And if you observe throughout history, history has always been like this. History has always been fascist authoritarian regimes struggling against other fascist authoritarian regimes, okay? It's only recently that we have liberal countries that are trying to counter authoritarianism, because authoritarianism was the meta for many years, okay? And it's always been, oh, my Islamic extremism versus your Christian extremism. I mean, why else would we have the Crusades, right? And yeah, I don't know. These things aren't entirely like different at all right? Like, this kind of shit has always been present, right? Regardless, I just want to say that now these days, Hassan is trying to infiltrate the Democratic Party. Essentially what he's trying to do is that he's trying to worm in, pretending that he's a liberal. Meanwhile, Asmongold is like pretty openly fascist, I would say. Like, yeah, I would argue that Asmongold is openly fascist. Now, one of the biggest disagreements, and I've had one person, one known DGG member, okay, my server today, argue that Hassan is more dangerous than Asmongold, to which I'm going to reiterate this, okay? I think Asmongold, it really shouldn't be a competition because they're about the same, but Asmongold is more dangerous than Hassan, okay? And it's because he advocates for these things very openly, and he gets way wider reach with much more viral moments and much more viral videos. And he covers gaming, and that reaches a new demographic that Hassan is not able to reach, okay? So again, there are multiple reasons why this is not possible, okay? And why this question has a very obvious answer. And no, just because Hassan gets more interviews with NPR doesn't mean that Hassan has more access to the gaming community, which contains the next generation of voters, okay? Like, if you're actually worried about like any future voters, then I think that you would be missing the point, because I'm telling you, gamers do not watch NPR. Gamers do not read New York Times. These people, these future voters, they're not looking at NPR. They're not looking at these kinds of things. I do. Well, I'm talking about people in their 20s. There's no way, right? But they are going to hear of Asmongold because he certainly plays video games, right? Yeah, so I thought that that might be relevant to bring up. That's pretty important. Didn't Hassan say that Americans deserve 9/11, if you don't mind me asking? That's true, yes. But I think that Hassan has said much more heinous things than that, okay? Now, with that being said, okay, now that I have said my belief about how Hassan is dangerous, but he is less dangerous than Asmongold, and I think that it should not be a competition because you should view them as one and the same. Now that I've said that, I want to make it very clear that I I still hate Hasan. And I still think that Hasan is a cancer that has to be removed from the Democratic Party. And nobody should platform him ever again. He's a disgusting freak that has a very sycophantic orbit. But you know, these things are all applicable to Asmongold as well, technically speaking. Okay, it's just that Asmongold is harder to dethrone. Okay, Hasan is easier to hate. Asmongold carries the mainstream opinion of MAGA, all right, which makes him harder to like shoo off, essentially, right? Anyway, you can face off two threats at once also. Yeah, but then, you know, this is a war on two fronts, okay? Liberals have a struggle, and that is the war on two fronts, okay? All right, cool. Play the soy pill debate and answer that question again. Radiant, I absolutely promise you that my opinion will not be changed by this debate. You have no idea how many debates I have watched now of this topic. You have no idea, okay? I've watched so many debates about whether or not like the left should be like a coalition, blah, 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 blah. You have no idea, okay? Trust me, this one will not be any different. Like it will just straight up not be any different anyway, okay?
Willing to put up with a level of anti-Semitism. You're willing to put up with a level of harassment. You're willing to put up with a level of just communist brain rot that I think would, if we accept it in, it's like ingesting poison. It will eventually kill us. It may make you feel good at first, but it's eventually going to kill you.
This is to me, unfortunately, and I don't want to make all these things seem equal because they're not. I think that Hasan's politics are like really bad. But like this is to me like every time
wait, just real quick. It's not just Hasan's politics are really bad. His personal behavior and everything is deplorable. It is the worst.
I'm going to get into that, but that's less bad for me than the politics, which are like I think are good, destructive to democracy.
I feel like Hasan is contributing more harassment in this sphere than almost any other.
I'm not saying they're good. I'm saying if I had
to hold on, let Destiny go, then Kraut. Let Destiny Kraut, then Soy Pill. Go ahead.
I don't know where that statement came from. I'm not saying they're good, right? If I were to say, you know, this guy went to murder your dog to cut his throat, would you say, well, I wouldn't say that behavior? You say no, the behavior is deplorable. I think Hasan has probably been responsible for more harassment for anybody like in the center left sphere than maybe any other single individual on the internet.
Destiny, the thing I was about to bring up was like whenever I appear on screen with you, I get so much shit for all of the accusations against you, the doc.
I will say that Hasan's audience harasses more than Asmongold's audience, but that's only because Hasan's audience is like trapped in a corner and they are like very firm believers of their shit. Asmongold people tend to just kind of shoot the shit. I don't know.
Stuff like any and all behavior you participated in the past. And like the thing is, I'm willing to say.
Wait, real quick. Who do you think that comes from, though?
It might be Hasan's community.
Yes,
for sure,
it is. That's the point. You're making my point. Yes, correct.
That's how much of these are. I don't know how much of this is legitimate criticism or not. But my issue is, I value your politics and your movement far more than I do potential accusations and how true any of these things are. And so when I hear the stuff of like, oh, hey, Hasan is a deplorable person, it's like, yeah, in a lot of ways I agree with this. Like this is just obviously true. But how much am I willing to use this person in the same way that he's trying to use us to promote my goals? And it's like, if you could show me that this is more harmful to my movement, that's when I change my mind.
Well, hold on, wait.
I don't
think so much.
You want to out Hasan? Is that what you're saying?
It's not we're saying that like the personal behavior is bad insofar as like there might be some misgivings about how they conduct life, whatever. It's that Hasan will directly attack people like in these communities. Like, would you still be willing to work with me if you found out that the mean messages you get when you come on my stream are mean?
Destiny has a POV with his face cam if you want to watch his VOD. Yeah, but then there's like mutagenics noises in the background, and I'm good with that.
Me messaging my fan base in like another Discord saying like, hey, you guys need to go and harass the fuck out of the Soy Pill. Fuck this guy.
I honestly would. I honestly like that would honestly
wait. In this case, you have to acknowledge when you're having these conversations that you are way outside of the norm and that your opinion is not worthwhile or valid when it comes to most people will not tolerate that type of behavior. That's an insane thing for the average content creator, politician, or whatever to deal with. Is another huge content creator that is actively, and I don't mean like by way of having a disagreement or whatever else, but is directing their community to directly go and harass another person. That's a really out there behavior.
No, it is. But
wait,
first of all,
I need to ask,
wait, Kraut, I really have to address this. One, Destiny, I already get so many DGGers in my fucking DMs telling me to fucking kill myself, and not because you told them to, by the way. I know that's not it, but just because of like just disagreements that you and I might have. But two, like, tell me if this is not true. Have you not doxed people on stream before?
Yeah, people related to Gisticle?
I don't know who or why. It doesn't matter what your justification is. My point is that like you've done things that I would say.
Okay, man.
I don't think that's okay, and I'm sure you could find examples.
Okay, all right.
But I'm not trying to make these things equivalent. What I'm saying is like if you're saying, oh, well, now I can never, ever, ever do anything with this person because it's a
the context does matter, okay? But I understand that people will not typically care about the context. Like people won't really care about the context for sure. But
tacit endorsement of everything they've ever done.
No one even said that. No one was making that argument. It's not endorsing behavior. It's about collaborating with people that are actually trying to destroy the other people in your space.
Yes.
Like that's a very simple thing. It's not like somebody said a bad thing and now you're doing something. It's like Hasan will actively try to destroy people in this space. Like you were on not at the same time, but Dylan Burns was on there. Okay, a guy who we've all watched. I think we all are personally friends with, or at least I am friendly with. Right? Yeah. Hasan called this guy a war tourist. Okay, a war tourist. All right, and was regularly roasting him.
Okay, and why do you think Dylan was on it?
Probably because Dylan had he wanted to talk about the Ukraine issue because I've sent
yeah,
him.
Do you think it's better that Dylan went on there and promoted good messages despite the fact that Hasan was on that panel?
You just totally said what I brought up, though. I'm just saying that Hasan is will personally try to destroy using personal, and not like these are just political.
But the whole thing is you're criticizing me for potentially working with him, which was being on a panel that he was on as well. Dylan was as well. Dylan has even more personal beef because of what you just described, and yet said, you know what? I think I can do more good introducing a liberal pro-Ukraine message, especially with all the anti-Israel shit in that panel. It's like, hey, look, I'm actually talking about other anti-war things that matter, and I think he did more good doing that than he would have if he said, oh fuck, Hasan was really mean to me. I'm not going on this.
Yeah, I want to make it clear. Yeah, but just real quick.
Sorry,
I don't know.
I mean?
Maybe I'm separating myself from Destiny here, but I am not criticizing you or Dylan for still working with Progressive Victor. You do what you think is best for your goals and things like that.
I think, to be clear, if you can make me a compelling argument of why this is ultimately more detrimental, I will stop doing it.
Just let me finish, right? That's not why I'm here today. I'm not here to deconvert you from Progressive Victor. That's not the point of what I'm talking about. I just want people to understand what is happening because, as Kraut said, Hasan has subverted that organization, right? Or Hasan fans, right? Maybe not him directly, but has subverted that.
So in case you don't know what they're talking about, basically they're talking about how Hasan has effectively infiltrated Progressive Victory. So Progressive Victory originally was Destiny's organization that he has collaborated with for his first canvassing efforts. And even though it was super progressive, obviously due to the name as well, very intuitive, even though that was the case, Destiny was still a part of it because he himself, technically speaking, is a progressive, even though I know that a lot of people on the internet will not feel that way, but he is 100% a progressive. Okay. But he would, he would help them out a lot and give them a lot of attention and shit. And Progressive Victory would pay people like Whick TV. I think that maybe they are still paying Whick TV right now. No, they're no longer paying Whick TV. Sorry, my bad. But basically they were paying a lot of Destiny orbiters. Not me, okay? I was not a part of that. Including Lonerbox as well. And there was also some fucking dramas related to that. But regardless, I just want to say that now it's just kind of disappointing that Hasan and the lefties have infiltrated the organization.
That off of Destiny, you know Jonah, right?
Yeah.
But also that's not surprising because if you leave Progressive Victory behind, then Progressive Victory has to pick up another group, right? And obviously somebody is going to come in to fill that void, and that's going to be Hasan. It's kind of like a vacuum of power, right? That's kind of what happened, right? But
very trustworthy of him and know that he knows the internals of this. And to my knowledge, there's not some tanky subversion pro Hasan movement in this thing, despite some things you might see that do come out of Progressive Victory. And have you been led to believe that?
Grimm? Ryan fucking Grimm, the guy who's been cheering the Russian invasion from the start, is not Turkey adjacent.
Wait, just a second. Are you saying that Jonah has come out and publicly said that?
I don't know if he's publicly said that. I'm asking if you've talked to him about it.
Okay, I won't quote any individual person, but that entire organization has been completely and totally subverted. Yes, every center-left liberal has been excised from that org, and it is exclusively socialists and Tankies now. Yes, I know that 100% true.
I've heard.
But I mean, I shouldn't even have to say that. That's very obvious just by looking. No, you haven't.
I literally am talking to Jonah right now, in chat. So whether or not that's true, I'm not saying you're wrong or lying or something. I'm saying I have heard differently.
Man.
Yeah, Ryan Grimm is on there. That guy, the night the fucking tanks rolled into Ukraine, his fucking nasty lectures and how all of this was the Americans' fault, that the Ukrainians won't last and should surrender, fucking seared into my memory. Fuck that guy. Fuck that guy.
Well, I guess Soy Pill, the way that I would look at it is if you think you can do good by interfacing with these guys, go ahead. But if you turn around.
I mean, if this is all true, yeah, that's pretty fucking horrible, dude. Then yeah, I would imagine that it is subverted. Now I don't know who these people are. But yeah, that sounds pretty fucking bad. Yeah. True.
Suddenly your community is 80% tanky. You should probably double think it,
I don't think most, if any, of my community is tanky, but we'll see. Wait, Kylo, back me up here.
I'm not accusing you of that.
No, you don't have to because I just know it's not true. But even if you did.
Oh no, is Kyla on Soy Pill's team? Bro. Kyla is always spitting when it comes to red pill shit. But she's never spitting when it comes to this appealing to moderates, nicety politics shit. I don't know, man. Fuck me.
Hey, Erudite.
Hi. What do I back up on what?
Primarily tanky right now.
I would say so.
If you have Ryan Grimm.
Yeah. Did you see my beautiful spectrum of the left?
Because you're saying goes in your chat. I was just in a meeting with Jonah 3 hours ago. It is a primarily tanky org. Yes. So I don't know what he's saying in your chat, but yes, 100%.
I'm going to read you Jonah's words verbatim.
Okay, read them. Yeah.
You are conflating tankies and socialists. Socialists, yes. Tanky, no. It's pro-electoral socialist.
It's yes.
Democratic socialists.
There are definitely pro-electoral socialists, and there are definitely probably accelerationists that would love to co-opt the socialist space.
Sure, those people are in
Can you tell me what exactly the point of democratic socialism is? If the only thing you get to vote for is who is on your firing squad?
two purposes. Number one, you can be a communist without
That's a bar.
having to outline your power level. Number
That's
two,
a bar.
it's for coward communists who don't really actually.
Hold on, just real quick.
Okay,
We have
that's-
Jonah. We can bring Jonah on and ask him.
I
Is
keep
that
telling
cool?
him he should come on and clarify this,
Okay,
but I don't
let's
know.
do
If he
it.
wants to.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Oh, hey, there we go, buddy. How's my favorite?
Okay. Now that you're here in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to be here for very long, but yeah, basically, I describe Tanky as like pro Russia, pro China when it comes to China Taiwan. That is not the position of the leadership, as I understand it.
That's what
They are
Tankies
socialists.
So you're not MLs then? You're not
We're
MLs?
talking about leadership. We're
They're-
talking about
they're
leadership.
like-
Hold on. Yeah, one at a time.
They're like-
Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't think Tankyism is specifically as it pertains to geopolitical positions. I think that's silly, obviously, right? I think that it goes easily beyond that. It is also talking about like the economic system that you want to have in the end, and the means in which you believe that it can be achieved. Yeah, effectively.
Definitely, we weren't talking
they're
about the
socialists.
leadership. We're talking
Yeah.
about the people they're working with.
No. We weren't talking about the people we're working with. We were talking about the organization has been subverted by Hassan and his movement. That's what was said.
Yeah.
They're clearly working with Tankies. They're working with
I think it's
Hassan.
Vosh's audience more than it's Hassan's audience in PV. if
It's
I'm being honest.
it's entirely Vosh's audience.
Yeah, I figured. But
Yeah.
Vosh is a Tanky.
Or as close as you can be
I
without.
don't know. I
Is
haven't
he?
watched
I would
Vosh in a
say
long time.
I don't think he is. No, I don't
Does he
think
want to
is,
get
no.
rid of private property rights?
Well, yes, he does.
That's
yeah.
not what a Tanky is.
I think that Vosh might be a Tanky. I think that he has that he has advocated for violence enough to fit that label. Maybe, I don't know. Like,
That's what
I would
Tanky
say
is
it's
now.
definitely moving. Well, I didn't say that's a Tanky, but it's definitely moving you in the Tanky direction.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but that's
Wait,
socialist.
how are we
which
defining
we've
Tanky?
known
Then?
as-
Have we done this?
When I think
Like
Tanky, I
Marxist
think like
Leninists, yeah.
USSR apologist, like communist
An
China
ML?
is great. Like
Yeah.
MLs, like Lenin is good, Stalin is
Oh,
good.
let me give an
Marxism,
example.
like-
Well,
Let me
there's
give
direct
an
examples here. There's Ryan Grimm, who ever since
give
the
an
first
example.
Russian tanks rolled in, has been
Stop.
on Russia's side. Yes,
Okay,
please.
Ryan Grimm does not run Progressive Victory. I'll give you an example.
like you can't just say the people who are like actually just straight up okay with other Tankies doing violent revolution does not count as Tankies. Okay, like if you're okay, even if you personally are not okay with it, if you would just like simply stand by and let other people like advocate for like revolution or some shit, I feel like you would still be a Tanky because you're enabling the rhetoric, right? You're saying, oh yeah, capitalism does not work. We need something to be changed. Then yeah, I mean, like, isn't that kind of Tankyisms because you're allowing the actual Tankies to do the dirty work? Like they're willing to do the dirty work while you sit back and advocate for something you don't want to talk about. Yeah, this is why I kind of have an issue with like actual socialists, because they say that they're not the same as Tankies. Like Vosh people will say that they're not the same as Tankies, but in all respects, you know, they kind of are, right? Like because they'll just they will like be spectators while like the actual Tankies like end democracy, right? Like yeah, that like to me at the very least, I don't know if yeah.
You promote him. You have him on.
Do you want me to speak or I don't work for
Okay,
people.
yeah,
I got
sorry.
ousted. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, go
Anyway,
ahead.
Go
Sorry.
ahead, John.
That was too basic.
So yeah, I got ousted from that org. But like for example, they're supporting Kat Abu Ghazaleh, or however you pronounce it, in the Illinois 9th congressional race. She
Yeah.
had some like position paper come out that was like in the
How do you
event of
spell
like
that?
figure it out. In the event of a Chinese invasion of Taiwan, that the U.S. should actively support Taiwan with weapons and whatever, right? That pissed off a lot of Tankies online. They were like including Ryan Grimm, who I agree is much closer to Tanky than the average socialist or whatever. But they supported Kat and they were like, fuck these Tankies. This does not change our opinion of her at all. We agree with her position on Taiwan. That is what I would see as if they were a Tanky organization from the leadership, they would not have that position.
I don't know.
And
If I say
I'm not
that I'm
gonna specific
against
people,
something,
but the leadership I know, like I'm not gonna specific people, but I know the leadership is pro-electoral and anti-Tanky very explicitly.
but what I
Oh,
They're
that's the
socialists,
person.
but
She lost her primary, and then Hasan Piker ripped into her because that's because you supported Taiwan.
Also, I feel
Did
like
you say
in
that?
terms of their-
I would
in
also
terms of
disagree with that.
go ahead,
in terms of
Jessica.
their big names, I feel like it's the Israel thing that they care more about, and she was quick to
Of course.
ID some APEC-funded dark money group that was against her as well. So I'm pretty sure Israel is the big motivating thing for a lot of these
Totally.
weird
Is
people.
Vosh?
But I
he's
see
an
Tanky as
ANCOM, right? Like he's an
Yeah, he's like an anarchist
communist,
libertarian
right?
or whatever.
I don't quite know what to
He's
do with the
also-
ANCOMs, mostly because they've just
He's-
like abandoned reality in a way.
Here,
that,
instead of like
fixating, all anarchists do actually. Yeah,
I agree.
He's also pro-Ukraine, right?
Instead of fixating on the weird labels, like here's the thing: is will they support Democrats in the general? That's like the main motivating thing.
Right? I mean, literally,
I think
Candace,
Richard
you guys
literally,
2020, right?
Wow, well, that's how many years ago was that? I don't know why that's relevant.
Well, maybe he won't do it anymore. Well, the reason I keep bringing it up is because like that's why.
Hold on. One at a time.
Vosh just literally said, I think he wouldn't vote for Gavin Newsom in the general because of his position on.
Oh yeah, Vosh literally said yes. I forgot. Yeah, no, that's true. For those of you guys who don't know, Vosh has literally said that he would advocate like voting for JD Vance. He would vote JD Vance over Gavin Newsom because of accelerationism. Like he is unironically an accelerationist. See, that's the issue that I have, okay? Because these people will try to differentiate themselves with Tankies. They'll be like, oh yeah, I'm not like the other Tankies. But then it's like, you are kind of like the other Tankies when you're saying you advocate for, when you're saying you advocate for voting for JD fucking Vance, right? Like, what an absurd position.
Israel-Palestine.
Oh, okay. Well,
it just sounds like you're making that position because you want to sound special. You know what I mean? Like you want to be like, okay, well, I'm not like the others. Like, yeah.
Stupid.
This is like Trump stuff. Wait, do you not see the minimizing language? Wait, like they're like, oh, this is stupid.
Okay, sorry. What words did you want me to use there? I'll agree.
No. You're saying it's not words, but it's like it's indicative of your state of mind because you keep doing this over and over and over again. Where anytime there's a bad thing, you're like, oh, I guess it's kind of bad. Oh, yeah, that's not great. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess. Like it's not a thing that.
Yeah, because I'm more aligned with people on this side, but it's like if you're going to be anti-electoral to say I'm not going to vote for Gavin Newsom in the general, it's like, yeah, you're not really part of my movement then. Sure.
The point is that wait and see if PV is going to do exactly that. And if they do, criticize them, call them tanky, call them no better than the DSA or whatever. But the idea is that you can shake your head, Whick, but the idea is that there is no proof that when there is a competitive race, which there will be this year, and you will see them support the Democrat in the election, in a competitive Senate race, competitive House races, you will see that happen this year.
My worry.
And if you don't, then I'll join you in hating PV.
My worry here, if I may do
wait, shut up. Let me add one thing.
Shut up. Okay, let me finish my thought, and then we got some people that also want to
allow it. Go ahead, Whick.
My thought, right, is I don't so much care what the leadership says they are. They are consistently promoting overwhelmingly a group of people who are anti-democrat, right? Who are anti-liberal.
I just went to their account. They're literally retweeting Gato Fumador. What fucking reason do you have as a serious political organization to repost Gato Fumador out of all fucking people? California is so compromised.
Yes.
What the fuck is this? Only one U.S. Congress member does not take AIPAC money. That's like a blue state. That's like entirely going after what?
Yeah, and so they can say all they want. Oh, I support, like in the general, we'll support them. But if you spend the whole time just trashing Democrats,
who cares? I'm the one eating them. Okay, it's not like you're eating them. Who cares if what I got is chicken nuggets?
All day, and then the day before the election or the week before the election, you're like, okay, guy, just vote for the Democrats. It's cool, right?
Wait, this is entirely to my point of why I'm willing to work with such an organization. If they do what they did, which this is literally the shit like that inspires me to like move stuff and criticize people like Hasan for not doing shit like this in the general, in runoff elections, in Georgia, and Senate races. Okay, let's go put money and people out there and make sure we win this. If they're not doing that this year, I'm fucking out. That's why I'm trying to do stuff like this. And so like the idea that like if there's an alternative to this, I would absolutely jump on that instead because they are half of these people they promote are people like you said, Kraut, and other people are bringing them up. People I don't like, but half of them I do like. I do like Rokanda. I do like Larkin. I like a lot of these people.
So we don't have to guess. Soy Pill. We don't have to guess if they're gonna still advocate for the person they didn't like because they did. No, they did this already. They advocated for someone else in the governor race in.
Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
Was it New Jersey? They really didn't.
Wait. Why didn't you watch me for a period of time? Like, where were you? I think I saw you in Rouse chat of all places. What the fuck?
Not like, was her name Mikey Sherrill? And then they still made tons of calls for her after she won the primary. And that's not even in a competitive race. That's in a race that like we probably were going to win. So if they're doing that in that race, they're going to do it in other races.
Okay, I think there's one thing. There's a couple of things to keep in mind. Number one, the incentives, right? We need to be aware that anytime there's a progressive, more socialist camp within the Democrat Party, the main competitors that they will have in any type of election is in a blue state where they can run against Democrats. A progressive is almost never going to be running against a Republican. It's exceedingly rare. I think the only time we've seen states go from Republican to like socialist is Alberta with the NDP. And that was probably a fluke, right? So the incentive structure that we have to remember for progressives is their main competition is Democrats. It's us, right? And so I'm not opposed to people working with, I don't really care that much. I think one of the things that we need to be aware of when we're working with socialists is we have to be very clear that we're not in the same.
I was on a new anti-anxiety med and stopped talking to people for a month. So I took away from the medication. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're better now. Wait, it's only been a month? I thought you've been gone for like, way longer than that. It feels way longer than that.
Camp. If they want to take away private property rights and we don't, we can work with them on certain aligned goals, like getting a Democrat instead of a Republican. But we have to be aware at all times that when we're working with them, we are conferring them power, and there are certain powers that they would want to utilize that we are diametrically and vehemently opposed to, and most moderates that would vote for us are vehemently opposed to. So I think that this is something really, really important to keep in mind. I guess to speak to progressive victory, I think the biggest issue that's happened here is that it, in the federal election, was dominantly floated and supported by liberal content creators in social spaces, dominantly being Destiny's community, but a couple of other communities as well that were also liberal. And it's so quickly flipped hard on them and kind of denounced them and pushed away liberals in a way that I think is extremely distasteful. And it is exactly what we should expect from spaces that get captured by socialists, which is why you can work with them, but you need to be aware that you're basically in bed with the devil, and you need to be very cautious about it, because if you're fundamentally opposed to certain rights being removed, like property rights, they are opposed to you necessarily.
Any other questions for me before I leave?
Not for me.
All right, cool.
Bye.
Yeah, the previous month, I had too much anxiety, but I was still watching stream. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, so you're still watching me then. I just don't want to lose you as a fan, you know? Like, if you ever, like, left my community, I would want to know the reason why. Like, if there's anything I can do to improve. Well, not only because you donate money, but also because, like, yeah, I don't know, you've just been in my community for a very, very long time.
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Reminder to chat to drink water. Also, Radiant and Puddles love each other crazy style.
Okay. Thank you so much for the 10 Australian, Megu. I appreciate that. Wait, what the fuck did the TTS say? Like, what was the dono sound that played? Fuck me, whatever.
Love you.
How many Israeli shekels did you get paid for this showing? He's gone. I knew he would run away.
Of course he did.
Into the tunnel with you.
But yeah, I think Erudite kind of hit it on the nose. The socialists aren't competing against MAGA. They're competing against Democrats for the same space. They want control of the apparatus, the institutions that Democrats have.
See, that's the thing with Whick, is that he's always correct when it comes to leftists, but he is a fucking dumbass when it comes to when it comes to moderates and like right wingers
built and set up, and they can't get it from Republicans, but they can get it from Democrats.
Like I it's so frustrating that we can never have somebody who is like against both. It's so frustrating because whenever somebody is against the moderate, they're like for leftists, and whenever somebody is like for leftists, they're not against moderates. Like you can never have both. It just never happens. Like that's the most frustrating part. Like I hate it. But yeah, how's it going? Going fine.
And they will absolutely.
I think that might be true in some blue states, but I'm not convinced that this is true overall. I've had conversations a while ago with someone who works in like a policy think tank.
Sadly, Stephen is unique. Yeah, I was
he probably hates to bring this up or him up.
Like his own orbiters don't even do that.
So he told me that there's a chance actually for the first time in decades.
I love Kraut videos. I feel like I saw a video debunking Kraut. Like, oh yeah, he's just not historically accurate. He's just there to spread propaganda. I forgot which one it was, but that one video made me skeptical of Kraut ever since, because apparently that somebody has actually read the books that Kraut has claimed to read, and he said that, oh yeah, well, Kraut is like not correct on any of these. Like he's not like paraphrasing it correctly. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure whether or not that's the truth. I would wonder like what is Kraut's like response to that, because I would be curious like what he thinks of that critique or these critiques. I don't know if he's ever responded to that though.
To turn a substantial amount of Utah blue, because the Mormon community is at this point just completely disgusted with Trump. Just the complete moral debauchery and everything. And there's that more and more Mormons in Utah vote blue, and there's a chance that you could potentially even flip the state or something. But you're not going to flip that fucking state.
Because what the title of that debunking video is? Sure, I'll dig it up after this.
Someone like a Hasan Piker. So it's varies from region to region. You have to go from district to district, from state to state, look at what local voters want, etc., etc. If you run a Hasan Piker candidate, Texas, in Utah, you're just inviting yourself to lose. I mean, yeah, maybe there's a socialist who stands a chance in a place like Maine, Massachusetts, etc. But just they want everything or nothing. They don't strategize. Everything or nothing.
Here's my question, because obviously, Kyla, I agree with the idea that like these people's opponents are Democrats. They're running in mostly safe blue districts because they're never going to win in the competitive one. Yeah. Is there a liberal?
I'm glad you care about your fans. Not every streamer feels that way. I mean, I feel like every streamer cares about their fans to some degree, but like it just depends on how you view them. Like, do you view them as a resource or do you view them as people? I don't fucking know. Like, you know. Because like I would imagine that the people who do crypto scams to their audience is not the same people who like me, right? Like I can't imagine doing that. This Kraut using liberal political theory instead of history. Is this no? Wait, Bad Epinata made a video called "Why There's No Bosnian Genocide." I should cover that. What the fuck? Okay.
This is how Kraut opens his video on how Denmark invented social democracy.
Yeah, it is Freda. It is Freda. It is Freda. Is Freda? Is this person credible? I don't know.
2 minutes after, he says this. Institutions is possible in other countries as well goes a long way to dispel the no.
Kami? Oh shit. What's Kraut's response to this? Don't derail segment. I'm not derailing the segment. I'm not. Screw you.
Alternative group that excises people like this, that is doing the same stuff that I'm attracted to, which
Freda's aligned with the second thought? Okay.
is mobilizing online
But is he wrong though?
audiences and communities.
No, because it always gets co-opted by people like you who
Did anybody double check both of them?
always say we should work with
Yes? Okay, just making sure. I don't know.
Tankies and socialists.
People like me, dude.
Well,
You
there's
did
two
it in
things.
2020.
There's
That's
two
what
things.
inspired me to join it, dude. Come on.
There's two things. Number one, liberals is dominantly, especially so like, yes, Destiny, you're this like liberal alternative, like dark space that's always been like woke and whatnot. But the dominant liberal actual like space has been filled with a lot of academic types who have been too afraid to stand up to socialists because they're very cowardly. Liberals just like want to stay in their institutions and be safe, and they've got the best policy. And I love liberals. But they're very cowardly, right? And so what they did is they shook hands with the socialists because the socialists were cool. And then they said to everyone, we're just like them. And they were fucking lying the whole time. And that's a really big problem. So they did get it co-opted, but in part it got co-opted because liberals are terrified of supporting each other and we're terrified of pissing off socialists.
Well, what
we're
are
afraid
the-
to lose that base.
Yeah, just,
They imagine socialists are good guys? Okay, gotcha.
just to kind of, I see it just a smidge differently. Because before 2016, it wasn't like this as much. There was some. But what happened when Trump won the first time is that liberals legitimately got scared. They thought they had it in the bag, right? They thought Clinton was going to win, right? They thought, okay, we have a formula. Obama had already won twice. We know what to do. We know how to handle these things. We have a great pitch. The people love it. We are going to win. And when they didn't, it shocked them. And they made a deal with the devil in a lot of ways, because there was these socialists, these kind of tanky types in the wings who'd always been kind of trying to get power in the space. And they said, you know what? You guys failed, but we could win for you. And we let them into positions of influence and we started listening to them. But then other than that, I agree with what you said. A lot of liberals became scared to kind of stand up to them. And now we have.
I mean, were they specifically referring to Ryan Getty? Like when they're talking about like the cowards, are they specifically talking about Ryan Getty?
Have a problem, right?
Huge problem.
Okay.
A huge problem, and the answer isn't clear. Like the answer isn't never working with them. Obviously,
It is. That is the
It
answer.
sounds like it is.
I think it is the answer.
I'm
The only
curious.
No, it is the
Like,
answer.
there is no other world where anybody would be okay with a group of people who are explicitly saying, we want to come in, we want to co-opt and destroy your movement, we want to do everything we can to funnel more people to our extreme side, and we're not going to support you in the general. And then like,
So,
okay,
We
let's
did,
hold
but
on.
that's
Let
the
me- let me
PPs
clarify what I
versus
mean, 'cause
Candidates
I
in the
think I was
general
under-
for competitive districts. I'm not talking
Well,
about Hassan
let me just
specifically. I'm talking about Vosh if he says the same thing about Gavin Newsom. I'm talking about PV that is putting this money behind mobilizing people to get Democrats elected.
Liberals should abandon PV. If I'm being frank, like that would be my position. Hassan's
Please
and
give me an
Vosh's.
alternative organization that's doing what they're doing.
I don't
Like,
have an
I will
alternative
join if you have a better one. That's what
Sure,
I'm saying. Like,
and I
what
believe that you would.
is your prescription for someone like me who is like, I don't like these people. I don't want to work with them. However,
what is the
I'm
current
willing
PV
to.
doing? Or what is the thing we're looking to emulate or whatever?
A collectivized group of
Phone
like left
banking,
content creators
canvassing,
doing-
door
Hey, why not just join DGGP? Or it's short for DGG. I'm kidding, joking. I'm joking. DG political or digital ground game. Yeah.
knocking and
Wait, have they
competitive
done
districts
that?
and general
Did they
elections.
do that much? Did they do that much once they became like tankified?
I don't know what the milestone of when that happened was, but if
Before-
they're not going to do it, but
when they were
Jonas says there's
tankified
already
before
plans to
and
do
after.
said thing. They just did this in a governor's race. That's what he brought up. Like, it sounds like they're still doing it.
They've been doing
Or DG penis.
phone
Okay.
banking since before liberals joined and after liberals have been pushed away, just to be clear. And when I say don't, like, well, you have to work with them, I mean, you do have to work with some socialists. You just do. I'm not talking about tankies. I think the fact that people work with Hassan and Vosh, I think the fact that
Did they pick an acronym? I mean, it probably started out as like DG politics, but then they picked digital ground game because it also fits the DG thing, and they thought that it was a smart thing to do. And you know what? Yeah, that is actually pretty smart. Yeah, like I'll give it to them. That's actually pretty smart. Sure.
Democrat candidates are literally slobbering at the mouth to go on Hassan's stream is a huge part of the problem. It just is.
Yeah.
Well,
But
there's a
also, like-
lot of Democrats
And
who
I don't
want
think
to go on
this is
Hassan's
bad.
thing that
Destiny
won't,
worked
won't
with
let them
Vosh in
on.
2020 in a project I agree with, right?
Yeah, but that was before. First of all, that was when Vosh was willing to like kind of be more electorally minded. Number one, number two. If you remember back in those days, remember when I did the panel with Vosh and Emma? Emma literally said, "This is all a waste of time. We have no influence anyway." And now she's super gung ho and excited because she's got a bunch of other tankies on panels with her, and now they're excited to drop.
Also, digital ground game is also like a really good name. Like, yeah, digital ground game is just I love acronyms that actually make sense. I fucking hate acronyms that don't actually make sense. Like that acronym just makes sense to me.
I have like influence in that direction. So I mean, like we can go look at all the people invited. Like these are all like pretty hardcore, like single issue Gaza genocide, like both sides of the same type voters. Like
all of them.
I said most of them. We can look at all the people on the panel. Most of them are probably like that. We can go back and recount up all the people. But like 90% of that PV thing was like about Israel. Like that's almost the only thing.
Yeah, they're very Israel brain, and I agreed with you there. But it's like, okay, if I'm going to look at like the majority report and disagree with like not a lot, maybe like 30 to 40% of like Emma's takes, and still say, hey, these people are still electoral. These people are still promoting good policy. These people are still trying to get the general, like promoting Kamala. They're going to promote Gavin, even if it happens. Like I don't agree with Matt. Matt's like super tanky, but like Matt's the guy in the back who doesn't even have a camera. Like, do I just write these people off completely? And if so,
if you feel like
I'm not going to tell you what to do.
If you feel like you agree with about like 50% of what Emma says, then you're probably on that team. That's like the side that you're on. But then I just don't know why you either don't recognize it or you're also mask on. Or
do you think?
Emily is easily one of the most retarded people in media right now. And if you find that you're like agree with that,
true. Yeah, Emma Bigley. But I want to Soy Pill, please. I want to hear from Kraut because he's a guy invited on.
No, I'm just surprised because you said
Kraut, please. I need to address this.
Kraut.
I know you've moved.
Kraut follows me on Twitter now. I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. Very dangerous.
Further away, and I think Sam has moved a lot further left in ways that I don't like. But like Sam Cedar of Majority Report, like you respect, I respect definitely as someone who like I think is very well read and analyze these things mostly with a pretty level head. And if it's like, all right, if this guy's promoting it, I usually agree with most of this person's takes.
That's a bad spawn.
No, I
don't feel about any of the Majority Report. No,
not at all. Like you completely flipped on Sam.
Yeah, 100%. You can't have that many bad people around here for that long, and then like have none of those.
Like hello?
Yeah, that's just insane.
Bro, this is such a bad spawn. It's such a bad spawn.
I think if anything, my view of this is similar to your your description of how this has gone, which is Sam has taken a bunch of positions I don't agree with over the years and has moved farther away from where I would agree with him back maybe 2018 time. But to say like, hey, I used to really respect you, and now I have 180. I don't agree with a single thing that you're talking about or promoting. I just think that's insane. Like that's not. I want to
give it to Kraut. And I gotta use the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back. So Kraut, go ahead.
And I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Don't worry. Fuck. Where was it? Since you brought up Sam Cedar, he also did this thing of blaming the Russian invasion of Ukraine on NATO expansion and blah 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 blah. He also did that thing.
Really?
All America. All of those people are like they hate the West, hate America. Yeah. Everything that is related to it is like evil and bad and terrible.
I think what I wanted to tell you is I see no obligation for people like.
And turn it up.
The way all of this transpired, this takeover of Progressive Victory, and the first thing they did, right, was not like you keep talking about as if this was a policy organization. But one of the main reasons why we're talking here, certainly the reason why Whick invited me in here, was because the first thing these people did was turn around and attack their enemies. The first fucking thing they did was going after their personal vendettas, etc. It's the only thing they fucking do all the fucking time. And when you keep saying this thing where you say, oh, you need to work with people anyway, even if you have disagreements, this isn't just about disagreements. These are people who like talk about the way they engage with us is not a disagreement. It has the goal to have us annihilated. Their goal is to annihilate the center-left, to annihilate the center in general, to drive it out of the political conversation. And as someone who is in the center, I see no reason to engage with someone like that, no reason to work with someone with that, even if there is some sort of supposed common goal. And I can't even think of what the common goal supposedly is right now.
Okay, well, this is a question for you and Erudite.
Can I pose a question just because I barely understood?
Men are talking. Go ahead.
And I know my mic is soft. I'm just genuinely curious your guys' thoughts because I don't think I actually know the answer, and I don't think it's obvious that there is a super clear answer.
The neutral star.
When you guys think about like how to party with, when I look at the right, for example, like MAGA, there's a lot of like unions that got built, even though we're now seeing they're actually very opposed to one another and they have a lot of issues, right? And I understand MAGA's super retarded, we all hate them, blah, 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 all the things that you guys need to say, like, yes, we fucking hate MAGA. The question that I would have is essentially, is there some level of like political unification on the left of like activating the left that has to happen where we do have to essentially break bread to some degree with people who are enemies? My question would be, but should you just keep in mind that there are enemies? Are there certain people that we can work with that are in like the retarded socialist, hate America?
Look at the MAGA coalition. Look at the MAGA coalition. They never emphasize their disagreements.
Yes, and also they defend all of themselves. They defend all of themselves no matter what. They're always got each other's backs, and they all support the candidate. That's the difference. On the left, these people do not support the candidate. Like you can't have like there's just no serious political commentator that was not like valiantly advocating to vote for Kamala Harris in 2024. Like anybody who was not on that page like shouldn't have a voice in any left-leaning movement unless they're like 12 or something, right? Unless you're a literal child. Like this insane.
I agree with that. Now my question is, if I'm someone who's trying to emulate the type of stuff you did in 2020 and say, look, now I have an audience, now I have money, now I want to do something and actually get Democrats elected, and there's this organization that I should not work with because they have people like that in it, or work with people like that. What do I do with all that time, money, and energy if I can't form my own organization without the money?
I got a potential answer for you.
Go ahead.
A buddy of mine says that there is a alternative to Progressive Victory, and he wants to give a quick pitch for it, right? So I'm going to bring him on, and he can maybe pitch it to you.
Sure.
Hello, Trace.
Oh boy.
Yeah, what's up, Whick?
Yeah, you got something to pitch to Buddy Soy Pill because he's asking for alternatives here. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I would say you should go to digitalgroundgame.org. It is an organization run by a lot of us who actually did the PV program in 2024, and we're looking for, no shade or flame on PV necessarily, but looking for more of a center-left way to do similar kinds of that work, mobilize online communities, streamers, to do canvassing and stuff like that. It's pretty awesome. If you want to check it out, digitalgroundgame.org. We've got a Discord where everything happens.
Is this a Z's thing?
I don't know why, okay? As you guys may know, Kai, who organizes DGP events, is in the community. She's active in it too. And then in comes another person joined who is also part of like Kai's group, which is like the DGP group. I just didn't know there was like fans of my content among like the organizer of DGP. It's pretty cute.
No, it is not. It is, I know, a very unfortunate name. It is, it's completely different. It's very similar. Z's is National Ground Game. Ours is Digital Ground Game. They're very similar names, and we love Z. We're great friends, but it is a totally different thing. We're all about organizing online communities, whether that's getting them to go show up to their local things, like we organize lots of people to go to No Kings, or get involved in local Democratic parties, or more big things like canvassing events, canvassing houses, things that you've seen from sort of this online space previously. So if anyone wants to get involved, we're always more than happy to have more people.
Add me on Discord, send me a message. Yeah, this is a better alternative. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I've been asking.
You and Kai live in the same place, basically. Oh, that's cute.
But
yeah. Thanks, Flowtrace. We're gonna let you go now.
Yeah, appreciate it. Have a good one.
Bye. Go ahead.
Does Soy Pill have an issue with Z? I don't think so. I've never heard of any issues, but who knows?
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute. Just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became the prince of a town called Bel Air.
Okay. Maggie, thank you so much for 10 Australian. Thank you.
Just a drink. A martini, shaken, not stirred.
I trust Kraut's process ever since his vid on Polish foreign policy. It was super well informed, and it seems like his other videos a equally well researched. Fretter's anti-Kraut vid was just anti-lib BS.
Oh, thank you so much for the 50 PLN. Well, Emu, I always trust you, so I'll just go with whatever you just said here.
So should our only relationship with anyone, I guess, where's the line of where we would say, at this point, this person is shown to be so caustic that we can't? Is it not getting behind the dominant?
Well.
Hey, Mispu, thank you so much for the $20. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you.
Candidate?
I'm going to draw this line.
Does the candidate have to be Gavin Newsom, or are we far enough?
It literally doesn't matter who the candidate is. None of that was a consideration for people on the right. Every single person there, you cannot name, even the centrist people were supporting Donald Trump. Nobody was.
Are you talking about people on social media now? Or are you talking about candidates?
No, I'm saying.
No, not you. I mean, Erudite. Sorry.
I'm asking.
Drawn line of association.
Yeah, I'm asking which social media creators, specifically, we should be associating with.
Okay, the line that I've drawn is that everyone who in any capacity promoted bad empanada can burn in hell.
Oh, sure. I think that's good. But the issue is that's probably not actually as far as Destiny is drawing it, because there's probably a lot of people that don't support bad empanada.
It includes Hassan.
I agree, but there's but there's probably a lot of people that don't like bad empanada that are somewhat like still masturbatory about like being anti-American or like are very negative towards Gavin Newsom.
Yeah, Giga Chad knows. Thank you.
Or any other strong like.
I still have to encounter that person. Another line I would draw is Ukraine. Everyone who is on, that's probably because it's more closer to me. Everyone on the wrong side of the Ukraine issue can go to hell. And
wait, how close is Kraut to Ukraine or to the front lines?
Basically, how you treat your opponents. I mean, one of the greatest
what do you mean by that?
Can
you elaborate on that bit?
Well, one of the greatest things about being a liberal is that it's universalist. It's seeing the humanity in your opponent, seeing the humanity in those you disagree with, appreciating disagreement.
He's German? Oh, so very far away, right?
And when you look at like the Hassan,
did he like also drop out of art school? Or?
Yeah, and the general sort of vicious, toxic leftist fear around him, they obsess only with enemies and how to annihilate their enemies. That's not like anyone who thinks in those ways, anyone who engages politics in these ways, who only draws the distinction between enemy and friend. Fuck that.
So I agree with that. I think that's a really easy line, and I'm completely comfortable. The issue is that my suspicion is that there are more people that probably Destiny is suggesting that you don't work with, I could be wrong, that wouldn't fall into that category, that are maybe less caustic. But if you like, for example, typically one of my biggest lines is, do they want the eventual erosion of private property? Then I don't really think that they're on my team. The issue is that
only private property? What you have this funny thing with that. What is it with you and private property?
It's a pretty good rule of thumb. It's usually a pretty good rule of thumb. Usually people who are going to be anti-private property just like are going to be fundamentally like pretty open to tanky stuff. I just like find it's a good rule of thumb. That's all.
Okay.
And it's a policy I'm very opposed to.
Okay.
I think we all have these.
Okay.
I might have even more kind of lines, but there's a different. I just also want to make a distinction between a difference between like anyone who wants to vote for my candidate, I will take your vote. It does not matter if you want to vote for them. Cool. But when it comes to working with you, I have a much higher bar than am I willing to collaborate with you. And I'm not just talking have you on the same stage as me, because I can have people I disagree with all the time, and I do have people I disagree with all the time that I would.
Hello, moderators. Any moderators in this thing? Hello? Any moderators? Also, who asked? Who asked? Okay, who asked? I mean, this is Whick, right? He's not even like an organizer for GGP or anything like that. I don't know why he's putting his input out here.
Never work with, but I will engage with.
Bro, you know, it's like me using fucking Kings Canyon, Apex Legend, Crypto's like fucking map room in order to figure out who asked. Okay, and I'm finding nobody. Nobody asked.
But
okay.
If you want me to collaborate with you and to go to your event, to promote your event, to
Thank you, Whick.
basically be a figurehead or
Thank
be
you, Whick.
part
Anything
of
else?
whatever thing
Thank
you
you,
got
Whick.
going.
Anything else?
You
Thank
do
Whick.
have
Anything else?
to be
Thank you, Whick.
liberal
Anything
in
else?
nature, right?
Thank
At
you,
least
Whick.
for me.
Anything else?
And
Thank you, Whick. Anything
yeah,
else?
that's my line.
Thank
I
you,
don't know what
Whick.
everyone else.
Anything
What about
else?
you, Mr. Soy Pill? What are your lines?
Thank
Where would
God.
you say I'm not
Thank
going to work
God.
with this organization anymore?
Thank God.
I think definitely one of the lines, I don't know if it's the threshold, but one of the lines is if you're unwilling to support the Democratic candidates in the general because it's not your preferred
Can we have our moderator back?
Demsoc candidate or whatever the fuck they were trying to push in the primary, then you don't support us. You're just using us to support your candidates and then dipping immediately. I think Hasan clearly has indicated that he would do that, clearly, like based on all the rhetoric. So that's someone like, if it was his org, then it's like, well, I know you're not going to help us when push comes to shove, but it seems like PV is going to do this, or
I appreciate Wick. I appreciate him only in the capacity that he brings panels, which is content. Okay, I'm not entirely sure whether or not I appreciate him outside of that. I don't think I do. I don't think I appreciate him as a person, but I can appreciate the effort that he puts into his panels and organizing in order to provide like entertainment and things to cover. Essentially, yeah, that's what I'll say. Okay.
At least has been doing it, and if they stop doing it, that's definitely a line.
What does it mean if PV is willing to do it, but if 80% of the people they work with aren't? Doesn't that just mean when it comes time for PV to rally support in the general, they're just not going to get any support for it?
If that's what I see happening, then yeah.
By then it's too late. Wait. When you keep saying if that's what is happening, by that point it's too late. You have to be able to evaluate. Well, like if you were, like,
if I had to choose between an org that could do something else, then yes.
No, I'm saying if it was 5 months working with PV, and then by the very end of like we're coming up to the general for the primary or for the midterms, and then it's like, oh shit, these guys aren't backing anybody else. I've made a mistake. At that point, it's too late.
What have I lost by contributing energy and time to them?
By contributing energy and support to people who are actually pushing for Democrats to win in the general.
Right, but if they didn't win, and if they're not going to help my candidate, and if there was no better alternative to me, ultimately it was a fruitless effort. But I haven't like made a choice that fucked me. It was just, oh, it turns out you're disingenuous. I'll never work with you again. But if it was, I had to choose them over an org that was actually going to do what I wanted to accomplish, that would be the lost opportunity.
He's a good force in the liberal sphere. I think of Wick like a necessary evil. Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, so it's just the thing is that there's no other conceivable place where you can put your time right now besides an organization that's still able to destroy the Democratic Party.
Until this digital ground game thing was brought to my attention, there wasn't a clear path forward here. And now it seems like, okay, yeah, if it's a zero-sum game between dedicating my time and energy, I'm definitely picking the one where I'm 100% sure they'll vote for the Democrat and push for the Democrats and has an audience that'll promote that Democrat in the general. Then apparently this one, who you're skeptical of, but I have yet to see evidence that they won't do that.
What was the example that guy gave earlier about, what was it? Let me look at this race that Jonah gave. PD supporting
governor's race
in general.
I don't remember the which state it was the governor's race in. No, but he talked about phone banking, and to me, phone banking just isn't enough. I don't know. That's me, but whatever.
Well,
what
sure,
are you eating?
I'm curious. Is there anything? Can we find? Is there anything on like PV's like Twitter or anything about them promoting this at all? Like, is this anywhere? Did this actually happen in a meaningful way, or?
The general?
I'm double checking.
Yeah. Because this was an example that was brought up over and over again. Like, oh, well, they supported this.
SHERILL.
Yeah, surely on their Twitter account they would have some support of her. Correct?
Well, I don't know. That's what I was asking. But I mean, I can check. It's okay. Continue.
Apparently, you can't search on Twitter if you're permabanned. So I'm sorry. Can't
New Jersey governor. Their preferred person lost.
Yeah.
Who was the person that they were supporting
Cheryl
initially?
Still?
I don't know who the initial one was.
I don't know. Yeah, but
looked like
who is? Hold on, let me look.
Okay, so they had a I think I'm understanding this. They had a progressive candidate they preferred. That person lost, and then they made calls for the Cheryl Still.
Mickey Sherrill is the New Jersey governor. Mickey Sherrill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do we see any promotion on their site? Do we see any promotion on their socials? Do we see any promotion of this?
Well, if they legitimately did phone banking, they might not have a ton of promotion. Unless we just think that.
Yeah, but I can point to you promotional material that they put out for the primary candidates, right? Like, so the primary candidates that were running recently in the election, I think in Chicago, I believe it was. Can we point to promotional material of a similar nature to Mickey Sherrill?
I can ask them.
Yeah, just
involved in this.
I guess we're looking, we're searching, we're trolling the webs, gang. Okay.
I have no idea what any of you are talking about because I do not know any of these people.
Wait, you don't know Congress people like hockey cards and have all their stats memorized? How could you?
While we're looking for that, Kraut, did you have any other thoughts on what's been said so far? The
One more Ryan Getty and Destiny collabs? Yeah, but Ryan Getty is also gay.
The issues that have been brought up or things like that.
Hope that answers your question.
Put
that wasn't a question.
What do you mean about like leftists, about tankies, about
working with
Hasan
them?
Piker?
At what point would you? At what point won't you?
No working.
All these things.
My reference point here entirely is history. Like I think I told you before that my dad used to work with anti-communist dissidents in Czechoslovakia in the 1980s. So a lot of my
sending it to Bad Empanada immediately.
My views of who these people are and how they operate is shaped by like how like the way the communists came to power in Czechoslovakia was in 1948 through a coup in which they overthrew the government, and the way they gained the power to get into government was by consistently lying to the social democratic and the liberal parties in Czechoslovakia. They told them we're democratic, we're trying to achieve a liberal Marxism, we're trying to do this and that, we're moderating ourselves. They deliberately moderated themselves to get elected into power, to come into government, and then they quietly and secretly built up the secret police force, made lists of people, and then in February 1948 they did the coup and murdered everyone. And that's not just something that happened in Czechoslovakia, that's also something that happened in Hungary, what was called salami tactics and infamously conducted by Mátyás Rákosi, who then became the dictator of communist Hungary. Similar things also happened in Romania, in Bulgaria, in Poland. It's always the same. These people lie, subvert, and then as soon as they have power, they murder everyone. And that's literally what happened. As soon as they had power in Czechoslovakia, the first people they rounded up and had murdered were all the liberals and social democrats.
So I am seeing, just FYI, I am seeing them promote Mickey Sherrill.
I will say it's a little sarcastic. They literally say it's good enough after their preferred person lost. So it's definitely not a rousing support.
It's good enough.
I don't know. Definitely would not have been how I promoted an event, but that's just me.
I mean, so it's there. We got to give them their flowers for that.
It is there.
What is that?
I'm curious.
I would criticize that as that could. Go ahead.
Wow, Destiny, take it back.
Did the PV people? Did they ever? Now I understand that I'm persona non grata. But did they reach out to like Josiah or BTC or?
I don't know anything about their workings. I have no idea. Do you want me to ask? The person I'm asking didn't even work with PV on any of these things. They just used to.
Well, sure. I'm just curious if they did because almost everybody of that I think was like a recognizable like Democratic Party hater, super lefty person.
Except for Mr. Beat and Niels, I think basically.
Sure. Yeah.
What are your plans going forward? You're like all Americans, except for I can't pronounce your name. Sorry.
Dev.
Erudite. Sorry.
Dev.
Dev is Canadian too, actually.
We're both Canadians, yeah.
Erudite,
I'm at least an American immigrant. Okay, I get sunflowers.
What are our
I mean, I
plans?
can't tell you what to do with organization.
When it comes to the midterms.
Like, engaging it, like I'm not American. I can shit on these people all I want, and I'm going to. In particular, as long as they keep talking about Ukraine and keep talking bullshit about Ukraine. That's my plan for the future.
Oh, so what?
I mean, this is a good question, which is like the tactical versus the principle, right? And this is the actual tension I'm trying to sort out. What's tactically effective versus like principally effective? I think
there is no tactical effectiveness here because the people that are claiming to be tactically effective don't actually think the other side is that bad. Like the Soy Pill seems like he's in like 85% in agreement in terms of what they're saying, or he doesn't seem that huge of a deal.
Hold on.
A lot of
to be
stuff,
clear, with like Emma, which not fucking Hassan. All right, like these are very different people. The fact that I can't believe if you go watch like the Majority Report now, I feel like you'd agree with like 70-80% of what Sam Cedar is saying. If you disagree with that, I think we should go test it. Like maybe I'm wrong, but I can't believe that you wouldn't.
Well, one of the issues with this argument is that even if we said that we agree with 70%, if the 30% that we disagree with is fundamental to like liberalism and like the things that we value as like the liberal camp,
it's not even fundamental. It's not even fundamental to liberalism. We can move away from ideology. It's a one-way street. That's the issue.
Oh, wow. Destiny, mansplaining, interrupting, not so erudite to mansplain. I thought you were better than this. Come on now.
All of these things are one-way streets. They will never, ever, 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 ever come out and ardently support like a moderate Dem in the general. Like a lot of these people.
I'm once again staying up watching you instead of sleeping. That's not good. Keep doing it.
Sam might, maybe, but whatever amount he does is completely and totally destroyed by all the people he does around. Dude, when there was that election, the series of like special elections, it was like 6 months ago. I thought that Emma was legitimately going to kill herself on stream when all the moderate Dems were winning because you could tell how fucking hyped they were to see all these Dems lose because they weren't as fucking wacky far left as they wanted them to be. Like this girl, it seemed like she had to like triple up on her Prozac to survive that night. I'm not even joking. She was so upset. Like these people are not. It's
okay,
just,
if that's true, I have to readjust my 70-30. But to be clear, I know they don't like moderate Dems, but I'm pretty sure they'd support them.
You can't. This is a dumb argument to have because everybody knows I'm intuitively correct. So I don't know why I'm expressing this.
I don't. I'm not doing it because I'm bad.
Did Destiny just say everybody knows I'm intuitively correct? Okay, somebody needs to ego check this guy. Okay,
you don't get it.
You do because you
don't
apply this lens of thought to anybody else. I know you wouldn't. If somebody says, "I want single payer healthcare," this person is only pushing for a public option. Okay, we're gonna fight it out in the primaries, but if we just can't come to an agreement, I'll support him in the general. That's a position that is believable that a person can take and can advocate for their audience. If your position is this person is pro genocide, there are
my reaction when I'm arguing in Foodshops Discord, bro. But Radiant, you're just like wrong. Like I don't know what else to say to you. You're just wrong. Like there's no counter to that. It's just
pro-genocidal Zionist, ethno-religious supremacist supporter, pro-genocidal, pro-apartheid state piece of shit. There's no, it doesn't matter what your words are. Like, you guys would have used all these arguments against the neo-Nazis in the past. Oh, we're not racist. Oh, we're not anti-Semitic, LOL, because we said it. We can self-ID as not being this thing. If you spend the entire time attacking the left from the frame of like they're genocidal apartheid supporters, it doesn't matter if you pay lip service to supporting them in the general. It doesn't matter.
Wait, if I say that I think that Kamala Harris
just real quick,
is promoting
what is
a
it that
genocide in Gaza, but I think it's absolutely imperative that we vote for her over Trump. Is that an incongruent position?
If what?
If Kamala Harris is pro, like, destroying Gaza and genocide based on the policies that she's promoting, and that said, I think it's imperative that we vote for her over Trump, do everything in our power to stop Trump, because it's 100% going to be better. How are these incongruent?
Yeah. It's functionally incongruent. Because how the fuck are you going to vote for somebody who's pro-genocide? That's an insane position at that point.
Because it's impossible to look at the totality.
More shall enter the fray.
Oh my god, that's so fucking loud. What the fuck? What the fuck happened to Botrix?
Of an America and its policies around the world and say, I'm going to purity test based on one thing, and recognize that there are better options no matter how bad you think someone is.
All of these people, Ryan Grimm and Emma and all these other people, is literally what they do.
Isn't this like a solvable question though? We just need to know, like, to what extent is the audience of Sam Cedar and Emma Vigeland, will they basically fundamentally always refuse to vote for like the broader party, or are they going to gripe? And I'm not saying that the griping and complaining, again, because all that matters to me is tactics, right? Which is making sure that the left wins all of the upcoming elections and all these sort of things. And I agree with kicking a lot of these people out of group. I've been a pretty staunch, like, kick the far leftists out. The question is tactically, for example, if you're a canvassing group, okay, so you're a DGGA and you're in Illinois canvassing for some moderate Dems. What if there is a socialist chapter locally that is willing to...
Did she say DGA?
More shall gather. More shall enter the fray.
Oh god. Okay, stop. We need to fix this now.
More shall gather.
Okay, all right. Okay, very funny. I know. Okay, very funny. Ha ha ha.
Support you and canvass for your candidate. Will you work with them or do you cut them out?
This doesn't happen. I don't know why. Like, I don't even know if these people were willing to. Didn't the DSA pull their support from Abdani?
Let's
like this idea. That
I don't know if it's true.
I don't that are willing to go hardly support general people. It's like it's funny.
I suspect
more
it is
shall gather. More shall enter the fray.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Why is it? It's just like my ears. What the fuck?
Probably does happen some of the time, right? That
that
they will show. Yeah, I think even in the federal election, we had a number of people that came out that were like socialists who were still willing to get in behind.
No, we're talking about like the bigger.
What? It should be. Wait, hold on. It should be 0. It should be 0. What? How? Okay, wait. Let me test it. Sorry.
More shall gather. More shall enter the fray.
Wait, yeah. It's huh?
Just a drink, a martini, shaken not stirred.
Low.
But the volume is 0. Botrix, why? Why are you so bad?
We're talking about the leaders. Like, I'm sure that liberals can get these people involved, sure, because some of them will, because the actual people, the audience themselves are not as radical sometimes as some of the content creators, or are willing to support another candidate.
I agree. So then, is there benefit are there some content creators that masturbate on being anti-America that essentially could be utilized in such a way to pull them towards liberal causes that would be tactically beneficial for liberals? Does that exist?
No.
Whatever trade-off you're paying there, you're
Miss Flute, thank you so much for the $5.
You're losing it to the whole, like, having all of your conversations held hostage by the same tired, retarded, fucking anti-billionaire corporate Dems. Both sides are the same anti-genocide Gaza talking points over and over again.
And if liberals actually get their shit together and start making major movements and start making major waves and having bigger political media figures that we can actually get behind and work together, I'm all for that. The question is tactically, as we're building that thing, is there going to be a point in time where you do get Soy Pill on more leftist spaces?
Those houses won't be built because all of them are owned by Tankies that everybody's willing to work with. So those spaces can't even get off the ground.
The problem is we have a limited amount of time, energy, and resources to spend. And if we appeal to the Emma Vigeland's audience or to Ryan Grimm's audience, for every person we might get, right, from appealing to them, we're going to lose 10 who see us appealing to them and are disgusted by it. These people are a cancer. They will.
It depends on what you mean by appeal, right? Because that's implying that I'm saying we have to, like, yes, man, they're crazy policy.
Okay, I don't know about signing with the kid. Oh.
Well, they won't work with you otherwise.
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true for every single, like, leftist essentially content. I just don't know if that's actually true. I would assume that that's true for the large ones. I would just grant you that, right? But I'm asking for, like, the minutia. What if you've got a 120K leftist account that is willing to get behind the Democrats in the general election and is willing to talk with you, and you don't have to kowtow to everything? Are we able to?
I have to see that first. I'd have to see that first, because that is not something that is out there right now. I do not see anyone out there who's willing to, like, in that space, concede even a millimeter.
Can you think of one?
Off the top of my head, no, but I don't consume leftist content, so I don't know.
That's a problem.
Well, hold on.
Okay, I'm going to test it again.
More shall gather.
Great, fantastic.
More shall enter the fray.
Okay, all right, cool, thank you. Okay, I'm going to try to turn it off and see what happens. Okay, I turned off the active alert. What now? Wait, hold on. Save changes. Okay, I turn off the active alert. Okay, nothing. Okay, thank God. It was broken.
But my lack of finding this example isn't evidence that this cannot exist, right? And
hold on, but you could probably name like 10 leftist content creators off the top of your head. It's problematic that you can't think of a single one, even if we don't consume leftist content.
There are a lot of things that have potential to exist.
No. This has already been granted by me. I've already granted that I think the biggest ones are kind of write-offs. I think that this is a legitimate problem. This is why I would never work on an event that includes this on. Not that he would ever work on one with me either, right? Like this I've already granted. What I'm asking is like when you're getting to the minutiae of like what this actually looks like, there is a tactical question where you go, if you're doing an event that is supporting a moderate Democrat and Sam Cedar is willing to come out and support that moderate Democrat in the event, do you allow him to come through or do you block him principally?
This is like a question that is beyond some doors that have yet to be opened, which is why I don't think it's worth considering. Like if this is a good problem to have if we have socialist groups that are willing to campaign in the general that are pushing for more extreme stuff in the primary. But that's not where we're at. We're at in a primary, it's over and over again, all of these like socialist types saying you're going to lose every single time until you fully endorse our platform because all you are pro-genocidal, pro-apartheid, and that's why the Democrats keep losing and fuck Gavin Newsom over and over again. That's all these people are saying. Look at the response to the hypothetical that Hasan got over No, it wasn't Hasan. It was between Hutch and Pisco or whatever. Over like, would you vote for what was it? Like Gavin Newsom or who in the general? Gavin Newsom or Hasan? It was like fuck. What was the origination of this? It was JD Vance versus Gavin Newsom. I don't remember who got asked this initially. If this was Hasan.
Because we're talking about Hasan's thing, and this led. Okay, Hutch, are you going to have the same position if it was Hasan versus JD Vance? Who would you vote
these
for?
are GED level political commentator questions. You obviously would support Newsom regardless of how progressive or socialist you are. If you have trouble answering that question, then your opinion and your participation in any Democratic movement should be wholly discarded. Democratic Party movement. You're just not part of the same team. Like the sooner we realize this, we would just be so much better off for it. It's such an easy question. Like if you're having, there will never be elections or questions as easy as it is right now. And if you're genuinely stumbling on them, you're just like you're fundamentally a different thing politically, which is fine. But just don't confuse it for being a part of the Democratic Party.
How much? So my confusion is that you constantly correctly point out that these people don't really have true power. They never get political movements off the ground. Their candidates mostly fail unless they're in super safe districts. So if all that's true, but they are able to have massive audiences and are able to throw support behind moderate Dems, if they do, that's the big if, then why is it worse to include them? How much more are they harming than they're helping if they're not powerful enough to actually
subvert
movements
that could be politically effective?
They have some Vosh is willing to throw, but the only Vosh is willing to throw behind Ro Khanna. Is that good or bad? And do we work on a Ro Khanna event?
I don't care about Ro Khanna. Ro Khanna is on his own little island. Okay, that's like a unique. He's like a snowflake Dem. I'm just saying that in general. I'm just saying that in general.
A snowflake Dem.
Say he's willing to throw in behind Pete Buttigieg.
100%. That'd be cool. That'd be great. But what I'm saying is that the way that these people work is they just overwhelmingly. They hijack the Democratic Party's messaging so that we have to talk about shit that they care about, that the broader electorate doesn't care about, that overwhelmingly slants like younger,
new meta unlocked,
whiter, more affluent. And then even if they're not like it's not like they're so powerful that they can win elections, because if they could, they would go and fucking have their own candidates in places instead of just trying to leech off the Democrats. But just because you're not powerful enough to win your own races doesn't mean you can't dramatically negatively impact
I agree.
the races.
And I just realized a socialisty type of person that will throw in behind Dems and consistently does so. I think ContraPoints is a good example of a type of person who's probably more socialisty coded.
Hold on, but this is the worst example you could ever give.
How is this the worst example?
Because ContraPoints would agree.
ContraPoints is like hella unique, right? Like ContraPoints is another example where like you're not exactly pointing at like a large portion here, right? Like ContraPoints is like entirely unique. Like there's nobody, like for example, there's nobody else like Ro Khanna, okay, and there's nobody else like ContraPoints. Like these are both people that are like you can't really name a second person like that.
With every single thing I'm saying a billion times over. ContraPoints' entire online existence has been, holy fuck, leftists are fucking terrible, excise them from your movements.
So is your line just agreeing that leftists are evil? Because that's fine. I agree with that, okay? I have no problem with that line necessarily.
No, my line for the 50th time is people that aren't going to ardently support your candidate in the general should never be included.
Okay, but ContraPoints is an example.
I feel like ContraPoints have been... You know what's the funniest part? The funniest part is that, ironically enough, ContraPoints is somebody who has probably done like anti-lefty content before Destiny ever did. You know her two characters named Tabby and like Venezuela or some shit like that? I forgot. Like, oh, Tabby and Justine. Yeah. Like two of her characters, Tabby and Justine. The entire point of Tabby is that Tabby is just an ANCOM cat girl that just wants to smash. And like, she just doesn't really have the brain for politics in any way. And she's kind of brain dead. Like she is actually brain dead. Like as in like she doesn't have much outside of revolution. Yeah. But people miss the point of Tabby. People like cheering on Tabby, which is one of the reasons why ContraPoints retired the character. She retired both Justine and Tabby. Because Tabby is like people started worshiping Tabby, but then the entire point of Tabby is that she is too far. Is that she is obviously unreasonable. Justine is like the liberal half of ContraPoints.
Example of somebody who is you asked for a type of socialist content creator who would throw in behind the general. I'm saying ContraPoints is that type of person. So will we work with ContraPoints? My answer is obviously fucking yes.
Of course.
Of course.
Because she passes my simple test of will they support their candidate in general? Yes.
Okay. FD Signifier. He threw in hard behind Kamala. Do we work with FD Signifiers to fight the fact that he's actually, I think, an ML, if not further? I think he might be further than an ML. I'm not.
Fuck that. Hell no. FD Signifier is unhinged, right?
I would have to see if he actually threw in hardcore behind Kamala.
Fuck that.
Sure.
I don't even know what that is.
A large content creator on the left, BreadTuber.
Okay.
Fuck that.
And I agree that there are
ContraPoints is not a socialist. Yeah, if you're talking about counterpoints, sure.
Very few ContraPoints, right? FD Signifier might not count. But what I am saying is that it's really important that our tent captures the ContraPoints and doesn't chase them out. It's really,
that's
really
super
important.
easy to do. Yeah, but ContraPoints is
FD Signifier seems chill. He's not chill. He literally spent an entire arc going after white leftists because they were too white.
Incredibly rare cupcake snowflake. Like if you watch,
which is ironically enough the most white thing.
Twitter and it seems like most of the time she's just getting shit on or hated by other leftists.
Sure, but when you asked me for an example of this type of creator, it took me a bit, but that would be one example of this type of person.
I think it's
the exception to that left, because like Destiny you brought up earlier,
right?
like okay, someone who thinks that Kamala's position on Israel is abhorrent is incongruent with someone who says we need to vote for Kamala over everything and throw all of our support.
That's not what I said.
Like, okay, what did
when you fail to understand what I'm saying over and over and over again.
Okay, well I failed. Please tell me. I'm sorry.
If you're constantly like if you're screaming that a person is pro-genocide, pro-apartheid over and over and over again, you've removed that person from the conversation of being able to actually support this person in general election. There's just most people just won't be on board with that. It's just not possible. That's you have to recognize that there's your audience is never going to be able to turn their nose and be like, oh fine, I guess I'll vote for the pro-genocide, pro-apartheid candidate.
No, I'm aware that kind of rhetoric can absolutely turn a good chunk of your audience away. My question is how you think this is completely incongruent from that person saying, hey, like if you think your entire audience is willing to accept everything you're saying about them, as nasty as you're being, but then
We're making a RuneScape movie with Henry Cavill. Nice try, but April Fool's is not over yet.
completely ignoring you and you say, look, I think this is abhorrent. However, obviously this is material.
Also, how dare you assume that I wouldn't be the first one to hear about it?
Really right, correct, moral thing to do, and you all need to go do it, and they're dick-sucking Kamala during the general. Like, how are these things opposed? Like, these are things that I know the majority report did. I obviously Hasan and I don't know Vash, like, those people won't, absolutely not. They've already signaled that they won't. They definitely didn't last time. But, like, there's people like me who can say, yeah, I think this is abhorrent. I didn't shit on Kamala nearly so much as some of these other people did. I didn't even have a platform at the time. But the idea that this is like, oh, and therefore like going out and throwing your material weight and telling your whole audience and mobilizing them to go door knock and canvas, like that's not enough. Like I don't want those people to be excised from the movement. They're clearly going to full throat support the people that I need to get elected when it comes to shove.
Yeah, the line definitely can't be full-throatedly anti-leftist, because I think a lot of like performative leftists that are soft leftists would be turned away from something like that we could otherwise like absolutely work with. Tilly is another. I know that Tilly's not American. Yeah. So like that's why I'm saying like what are the rules of thumb?
Ooh.
This is why I typically say like I don't know, the policy that I feel like you can kind of somewhat test people on is, do you want to get rid of private property? If you have another one that you would like to use instead as a rule of thumb, that's fine. But I don't think it can be you are vocally aggressively anti-leftist. I don't think that that's the line necessarily, right? Because then we're excluding Tillys. We're excluding potentially slay the GOPs. Instagram has a lot more of these types of content creators that are
What the fuck is Tilly?
going to be leftist coded because they're
British debater.
Not that deep in their political philosophy and they're born in LA, but they're actually liberals that just don't really know it yet, essentially. And if you say I'm anti-leftist, you're going to lose them because they're going to be afraid of losing their audience.
Just real quick. Dev, you sent me this.
Yep.
You debated Charlie Kirk in England? Oh, okay. You just did content about her? Oh, Tilly. Oh, like the fucking Andrew Wilson Tilly. Okay, yeah, I got you.
Am I reading this wrong? Here, I'll show it on screen. Give me a second. And you sent me something too, Soy Pill. If you want me to still show that, we can. But here's FD Signifier, and he's basically saying,
"Don't paper laugh me, I'll paper laugh you back."
Saying he didn't campaign for Kamala.
Yeah, this is an exchange from a month ago where he's getting blasted by a far lefty for supporting the Dems, and he's like, "No, I didn't do that actually."
Yes, he says, please point me to the video where I campaigned for Kamala Harris and
that guy,
low-key throw slides.
Yeah, he's also one of the people who promoted Bad and Banana Bad in the day.
I can't wait to see this.
Here's Radiant. I just want to let Radiant know that I'm still not convinced that Hasan is a greater threat than Asmongold. I don't know why you expected me to have this take, but just want to let you know, okay? It hasn't moved an inch.
The weird Drake obsession sounds like a you thing, and being mad about switching thumbnails is so petty it makes me mad that I responded to this. Crying face.
Then not FD Signifier, that's fine, right? But then we've got Tillys, we've got ContraPoints, right? I especially suspect on Instagram, you're going to find a lot more of these kind of like, even like people like Naima's, for example. If we say we're anti-leftist, Naima would never join. But when you talk to Naima, she's pretty much a lib. Like, she's definitely not a communist.
I mean, like, I think
she's just
this
like
is
in
like
LA.
these types of obsessive conversations, I think, are the reason why, even as Republicans plummet, Democrats are like always just like fucked when it comes to popularity or approval. Because on the Democratic side, we're just constantly asking these questions of like, can we please bend and kowtow as much as possible to these people who fucking hate us and trash us constantly and shit on all of our candidates and call us pro-genocide, like all these horrible things over and over again. What can we do to appeal to these people? That's like what the Democratic Party is just always.
Foodshops, what is it about? Oh shit.
Martini, shaken, not stirred.
April Money also clearly Asman is worse.
Oh, hey, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you, Shady Abe. Thank you. Foodshops, what is it about RuneScape that makes to keep playing as someone who has never played a game? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, why I keep playing the game? ADHD and autism.
Bending itself backwards over to do. And I think there's a
reason why. Because we constantly eat our own. Yes, it's because we constantly eat our own.
We don't.
Yes,
they do. No, they do. The people on the far left do, and you want to keep including them. They're the ones who are eating our food constantly. Yes.
You're inviting Hannibal Lecter to the dinner table and wondering why everyone's getting eaten.
I agree. I have been swatted and doxxed and attacked by the
Whick, who asked? Whick, who asked? I just don't want Whick to be a participant in this panel. It's so gay, dude. Like, ugh.
These far leftists, as much as probably more than almost anyone but Destiny, probably more than literally everyone but Destiny on this panel. So you're preaching to the fucking choir when you're talking about like the problem with these type of people. The thing that I am pointing out is what is
Wait until you see the Google Doc of the literally thousands of Twitter profiles of Hassan fans that were harassing Destiny. Bro, I absolutely 100%. Wait, do you think my soul and Destiny's soul is like tied together? Do you think that whenever Destiny suffers psychological damage, I also suffer psychological damage? Like, do you think that's a thing? Do you think I suffer psychological damage with Destiny?
Shaken, not stirred.
Okay.
If you hear this, you have toe thumbs.
Thank you so much for the 5 Australian. No, just saying Hassan's fan base is way more toxic than Asmon's. Toxicity is not what I'm talking about here, and you know that.
Practically effective here. That's all I'm talking about. And I don't think just spite-driven lines is effective.
It's not
spite-driven. I'm not saying
it's not spite-driven. I'm just saying it's not spite-driven. It's that you need to have strong, like, liberal things that like liberal people that people are advocating for. And that once you create them, you don't agree. Yes, of course I fucking agree. All of my career is supporting you and supporting liberal content. That's not what we're talking about. It's not just about you. I don't know. That has nothing to do with anything.
Here's the thing.
The most irrelevant thing in this conversation right now. What I'm saying is that if I want a leftist candidate, I can find leftist influencers that are big, bad, awesome leftists. They're shitting on all the Democrats, they're shitting on all the Republicans, and it feels good. You say all these people are on Instagram and TikTok. Of course they are, because they're allowed to be there, and they're allowed to talk about how horrible the genocide is and everything else. But as liberals, you can't create those people to those spaces. You constantly have to run further left to appeal to those people.
Yes,
and it becomes a self-perpetuating problem.
So when we're having just real quick, Erudite.
I am trying to parse out. Hold on. No. I'm making sure my position's clear so that it doesn't get like turned into something else. I am trying to parse out what will work most effectively. That is all I am trying to figure out here. I'm not actually strictly advocating for any direction right now. I'm actually poking holes and questions into positions that are stronger so that I can decide for myself. Because I think, for example, one of the big issues that you're pointing to with the leftists is that they're eating our own. They're eating the liberals. They are constantly attacking it. And I think one of the big issues that liberals have is we don't support each other very much. I suspect right now that your audience right now is fucking shitting all over Niels and shitting all over me super nicely, despite the fact that we are literally aligned, right? And so this type of behavior, I think, is a leftist problem and is a liberal problem and is always going to create issues.
I think over liberal things. It's over supporting the cannibalistic leftists.
Build things up. I don't
like you're asking the right question, and I don't disagree with your question, Erudite, is what is most
Oh my god. Wait, nobody cares what you agree or disagree with. Oh my god, just shut up.
Tactically efficient. What should we be doing in order to win? The argument that I am making, and I think Destiny is making, is that by inviting these leftists in, even you may gain a few of their followers, even some of the
Oh wait, hold on. This is actually moderating, because when you're trying to clarify like what point and what point and what point, that is moderating. Okay,
of them might work with you, and you might be able to have some of them vote for you. There's going to be negative externalities or negative things will happen because you do that. They're going to hurt you more than help you. Let me fucking finish. Okay, they are going to drive away other voters. That's more moderate voters, more center-leaning voters are going to see you appealing to these or working with these people, and they're going to leave. They're not going to want to work with you anymore because they know how they operate. There's going to be a lot of these people in their audiences that are going to come in that don't have the same morals as their streamer person that they're following, that are absolutely going to behave like the evil Hannibal Lecter leftists that we're talking about and just destroy any kind of sense of unity within whatever organization you're trying to make. The argument is, hold on, just real quick, Kraut, and then we'll let Kraut go.
Do we work with Tilly's?
No,
go ahead.
She's a leftist, but she's British. This is a British person.
Wait, why would we work with Tilly? Wait, you aren't chubby or did you lose weight? You always said you were overweight. Yeah. I did, but only recently I dropped below the overweight line. Only recently. Because I've changed my lifestyle. I'm making better lifestyle choices. That's why. Analytic, Foodshops. Not the first time Whick was mad he wasn't allowed to finish. Yeah, it's also so stupid. He's not like a participant. I hate the way that, like, okay, it's really complicated. Like, I'm appreciative of the fact that Whick organizes the panels in the first place, but I'm conflicted because Whick is such a retarded moderator, okay? It's like, it's like it's a very shallow ocean, you know what I mean? It's a shallow ocean when it comes to Whick, right? Where there are plenty of content that he makes, but then he always like you're just stuck with him. I don't know.
Oh, I know. Use the
nice, congrats. Thank you.
example because I've given contrapoints, I've given Tilly's. I don't know where Slay the GOP is exactly on Newsom, so I'd have to vet that one out. Naima might be an example. Do we work with these people who will identify as leftists and won't want to work with us if our position is doggedly anti?
I cannot stand how he moderates. He's not even a he barely moderates, dude. He's like, it's retarded, okay? It's just retarded, okay? My girlfriend watched a debate with me once and was confused on whether Whick was a participant. I'll tell you who is a proper moderator, okay? Dylan Byrne. But now he's in, but you know, he's in Ukraine right now, so, and he's like risking his life to do journalism, so yeah, we can't rely on him right now.
Leftist.
I actually talk with a lot of leftists. I associate with some of them, and one thing that they all have in common, those at least that I associate with, is they all got chewed out and purity tested by Hasan Piker and co. So I think a great place to tactically start, if you're going to build bridges into the far left or into leftist corners or whatever the fuck you want to call them, good place to start is to go for those, to engage with those who got purity tested and chewed out by that monstrous fucking abomination that is building up over there.
The way to tell them went right, unfortunately.
The way to tell is, do they support the candidate?
That's the MAGA tactic. That is the MAGA tactic that has worked perfectly since 2015. It's you like that's what people like.
I agree with you.
Sagan and Co. What they did, they always go after the people who were chewed out by their own. So yeah, we go after the people who we built the bridges to the people who got chewed out by people like Hasan.
I agree, but the issue is a lot of those people now have unfortunately like landed on the right in such a way that I think a lot of people
because we didn't catch them.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Right? I totally.
It doesn't mean that. Yeah, it like saying, oh yes, but this example and this example, therefore let's not do this anymore. That's not exactly something that works.
Yeah. So what I would point out here, and all I would say here, is that if the line of thumb of who you do and don't work for is their vocality of being anti-leftist, I think it's not sophisticated. I'm just trying to parse out what's tactically effective, because I think you lose people like Naima's, like Enemy Charlie, who is a leftist.
Why do we keep repeating this point? I'm saying that you just...
Wait, who cares? They're women. We don't want women in our movement.
Don't support people that aren't like valiantly support the candidates in the general. That's it. It's not about being a leftist
but
or
these people might
not.
not. I suspect
then you don't have them on your team. Then they're cancer. You don't work with them.
What
then
if
I'm cancer.
what if they're critical of Gavin? Well, the issue is which candidate do they have to support right now? Ardently. What if they say, of course? What if they say something like,
Personally, I draw the line at woman, okay? If you have two X chromosomes, I don't want anything to do with you.
Of course, we'll support Gavin Newsom. Say he wins, okay? It's Gavin Newsom for president, all right? That would be my dream, okay? If they say, I'll of course vote for Gavin Newsom over JD Vance, but they go, but I would have had different preferences in the primaries. Is that okay, or are they out too?
What do you think?
I would include them.
Of course.
No. What do you think my answer to that question is?
Of course you would include them.
Wait, that's such a ridiculous question. If their position was, I would have supported somebody different, but I'll support them in the general. Obviously, this is a person to be included. This is not...
You know when Steel Bell Run episode 2 comes? What? Are you saying that episode 1 is already released?
99% of the people that we're talking about, though.
Okay, but what if you have people right now that are further like this, that do become like this? Like, what if instead of Gavin Newsom winning, Pete Buttigieg wins? And so suddenly Sam Cedar is willing to throw in behind Pete Buttigieg. I'm not saying he will.
Sam would also throw behind Gavin, I'm pretty sure.
Sure, regardless. Do we work with them now, or do we not because they've been so caustic? Because they have.
No, we can wait and work with them in the general. If they want to support us in the general, we work with them in the general. But we're fundamentally misaligned in the primary, so support other content creators.
Hold on, let me ask you this.
What if they're willing to vote for Gavin Newsom, but also vehemently critical of his connections to AIPAC? So they say, I would vote for him because he's better than fucking JD Vance.
But he's still a genocidal maniac.
More tongue-in-cheek, but he's still a genociding AIPACer. But of course I'm going to vote for him over a fascist. What if that's their position? Do we work with those?
I think we can do better. I think we can do better than that.
Yeah, there are other lines. Like, even if they're willing to give lip service to our general candidate, if the whole time they're saying, you know, all these candidates are corporate shills who do not have your best interest at heart, that will just sell you out, that they're the Epstein class, they're the fucking, they're AIPAC shills, all these things. No, we don't want you. We don't want to work with you. We want people who support us.
So that's where we probably disagree. It seems to me less tactically sound, because if they're willing to like work together but still be super critical of Gavin Newsom, I'm...
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Women. In my movement. Also, who would win between a rock and a hard place, and what do you mean this package came in the mail?
Sexism. Thank you so much for the 5 Australian mega.
Broadly still going to just be willing to work with them, right? The people that I'm not going to be
It's not just being critical, it's how they're critical.
I don't know why we're playing. The word games here are really funny tonight. I don't know if this is intentional or not. Like, I don't understand you and Soy Pill keep doing this. If they're going to be critical, who the fuck is talking about being critical? We're talking about calling somebody a genocidal supporting Zionist freak. That's not being critical. It's being unhinged. This is like a different kind of, like, there's not a single person in here, and if there is, then fuck them. Whoever is saying this, I don't think anybody here is saying this, who's saying we can't accept people who are critical in the primaries of our candidates. I don't think a single person in here is saying that or has ever said that or will ever have that position.
When I say critical, when I say critical, I mean the level of nuance and sophistication that I expect from the majority of these, like, I'm a leftist because I don't know much more and I live in LA type creators. That's about what I expect. And I do expect them to call him
from Sam Cedar, from Emma Vigeland, from
I'm not talking about Sam Cedar anymore. I'm talking about people like Andy Charlie and Naima and these types of creators. Like, they're going to be less informed. They are leftist, but they're leftist because they're in LA to some degree. And they probably
the problem with your hypothetical, though, is that it doesn't really correlate with reality. That's not what happened in the last election. It's not what happened. But we didn't have these far left people come around and like, oh, yes, Kamala is like in the thing that you described, where they're begrudgingly supportive of Karen. That's not what they did.
I agree. I agree because liberals didn't have anything.
Do not vote, third party, blah, blah, blah.
I agree with you entirely because I think that there was literally almost no media community social structure.
But do you think it would have changed had liberals been like, but we really, really want you, please?
That's not what I'm advocating.
Yeah, no
for,
one's advocating for capitulating
no.
these people.
I'm not saying lick the boots of people who want to destroy America and hate Democrats and want to destroy it. I'm not saying that, obviously.
No, I'm not saying you're saying that.
Well, that would be the conclusion of that, right?
No, I don't think so.
Please, Hassan, will you let us on? It's like, that's pathetic behavior. What I want mostly for liberals to do is support other liberals and rally around each other. The main thing that I want to make it clear is that we are a soft landing place for people who like call themselves leftists, who do use things like genocide.
What do you mean with support other liberals?
What
do you mean with, like, this is like the third or fourth time I'm curious to ask, what do you mean with liberals then support liberals? What do you mean with that?
For example, engaging with one another positively in content, trying our best not to endlessly critique one another as we are doing right now.
That's not what we're doing
try
right
to build
random meme things, but
these aren't meme things at all. I don't know why
we're not critiquing each other liberalism right now. The question is whether or not to accept people in the movement that say they want to destroy the movement. This is not a critiquing of liberal policy or liberal.
But again, I'm saying, what the fuck does that mean when they want to destroy the movement?
People don't ardently support their candidate in the general because they didn't get their way in the primary.
Sure. Okay, so what about people who are not very sophisticated, but do some level of political content, like Enemy Charlies and Naimas? What do we do with these leftists who probably do call Gavin Newsom a genocider because they live in LA and all their friends are doing that, but probably could be polled and probably would be willing to rally around and behind certain moderate Democrats? Do we work with them? That's what I'm trying to ask.
What does that have to do with liberals supporting liberals?
Why? Because they don't have to.
Well,
the right never did this. The right never ever had to think about questions like this. Like, do I bring somebody on who says they're not going to support Trump? Like, they didn't do this. They just don't work with those people, and they pick people who support the candidate.
Yeah, get on the team.
How old are you? Just curious. 16.
Right? If you want to be on the team, you can be on the team. We'll accept you, but you got to come to us. Right? Is that what?
Yeah, these people don't even have real political power in terms of they can't get any of their candidates elected. They don't go to win primaries anywhere outside of like the deepest, bluest, most Democrat prepared places. I don't understand why the conversation is capitulating to them. It should be them saying like, well, how much should we soften our position towards liberals to be excluded
our
them?
politicians want to work with them, right? That's the reality.
Because we keep accepting these people into our movements because nobody's doing anything to audit these people and because there's this weird acceptance on the left of having to work with tankies and shit. It's never happened on the right. They don't do this on the right.
How do you pull the Naimas towards the liberal side effectively?
I don't know. I don't care. I'd rather create more Mocklers and more Luke Beasleys and more of these types of people than try to figure out how to appease or appeal to people that don't seem to be supportive of the party.
Yeah.
It's wasted energy. Like, look, I would love
hold on here. Erudite. I'll put it like this, okay?
Oh my god, Whick, shut the fuck up, please.
The neocons invited MAGA in, and then they got destroyed. The liberals shouldn't do the same with the far left.
None of this. No, I'm no longer talking about the far left. I think I don't know where. I'm not going to put words. My position has never been.
Liberals again? What?
I am talking about this space between somebody who is actually a tanky, who knows what they're talking about and means their positions, right? Like a Hassan or a Vosh, versus people who their politics aren't overly sophisticated. It's mostly a result of their culture. They happen to be probably an LA socialite. And so they're in this socialist progressive camp and they probably identify as a leftist. I'm asking, what do we do with these people? Because I actually think that they have a lot of value.
If it's not even strongly committed to anything, then fine. You do events with them, I guess, sure.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
I will disagree, and I'll say why. Right? I think that, like, well, if they
Oh my god, who asked?
They want to work with you.
Who
That's
asked?
fair. I don't
Who
think
asked?
we should try
Who
to
asked?
appeal to
Who
them.
asked?
I don't
Who
think we
asked?
should try
Who
to
asked?
kind of
Who
reach out
asked?
to them because
Who asked?
I think
Who
that
asked? Who asked?
the people who are going to
Who
give us
asked? Who
more
asked? Who
value.
Who
And what I mean
asked?
by that is
Who
votes.
asked?
To be
Who
clear,
asked?
votes.
Who asked?
I don't care about
Who
clicks
asked?
on social
Who
media.
asked?
I care
Who
about what
asked?
only in so much as it translates to actual votes on election day, whether that be primary election day for primary candidate or in the general election. We reach out to the people who have a history of voting, right? Who have a history of participation, who are gettable, and we do that by sticking to our liberal values. One of the problems that we have, and one of the reasons we look weak, is because we're constantly trying to appeal to these people who aren't going to give us anything.
Where's this constant appeal I'm seeing? If anything, it seems like the opposite is happening, which I'm not saying is a bad thing, by the way, but like I'm not suggesting we appeal to these people. It doesn't seem like a lot of people are. The only thing I'm seeing is that people want to go on platforms that are big, that happen to be run by leftists, but they're not appealing to those leftist-like policies. They're not trying to ship them.
Wait. They are appealing to them because those leftists are controlling the conversations. That's why we just had a PV thing where 90% of the conversation was about Israel-Palestine.
Okay, fair enough.
And that's the thing that when people are watching it, that's a both sides issue. Like both sides are equally bad on Israel-Palestine. And the way forward is...
and so when Whick says, and this is something I'd agree with, when Whick says, if you partner with these people, if you're a politician, you're on that panel where Hasan and they're saying some unhinged shit, and they're like posting this with like all the clips of his song saying more unhinged shit, that probably will lose you more support with voters than it would gain from you working with a person like that. And that's why I'm like, yeah, that's probably bad. Versus, hey, this person said, I'm going to canvass for the general person. I'm not saying this has happened yet. Let's just say this is the case. I don't see any reason to reject that help.
Sure. I guess. Just the examples we're giving up are things that have just never, ever happened. So I'm not even sure how to like evaluate these examples.
We just saw that PV is throwing out fucking help for the person in the general that they don't support. As sardonic as it might be, they generally care.
PV threw out a tweet for the other person that we did see that.
A tweet that was a call to their phone banking event that helps get them elected.
Okay.
That's good, right?
Okay.
No, it's a magnitude question. You would understand this in any other circumstance, but for here we're pretending we don't, I guess.
I don't know why you always accuse me of shit like that. Like it's like at worst I don't understand. I promise you, I'm not like purposely fucking like obfuscating this.
Before I forget, let me read some of these super chats so we don't have another incident, okay? And then we'll I want to hear from Dev a little bit. He's been very quiet, and he does this thing where he's just quiet.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I prepared for a completely different kind of conversation.
I know. It's coming on in different.
No, it's fine. It's fun.
Are you also streaming on your channel?
No.
Why?
But Destiny is Destiny is, I think,
make money.
I keep telling him to co-stream these, but he never listens to me. Anyway, let me read.
I'll upload the VOD for sure.
Yeah, let me read some of these. Okay, Riz, what the fuck for 2 months? Tier 2 membership. Dev, Kraut, and Whick.
What did Whick want to do?
A little bit. He's been very quiet, and he does this thing where he's just quiet.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. I prepared for a completely different kind of conversation.
I know. It's coming on in different.
No, it's fine. It's fun.
Are you also streaming on your channel?
No.
Why?
But Destiny is Destiny is, I think,
make money.
I keep telling him to co-stream these, but he never listens to me.
No free clout.
Anyway, let me read.
I'll upload the VOD for sure.
Yeah, let me read some of these.
Just because you organize panels doesn't mean that you get the clout.
Okay. Riz, what the fuck for 2 months? Tier 2 membership. Dev, Kraut, and Whick. Heart. Thank you. $2 from Chris History 101 says, Kraut, will you review the new Ralph tape with PPP?
What?
Oh God, no.
No. Okay.
Have you actually kept up with Ralph, Kraut?
Yeah, he's in Mexico now, right?
I think he got arrested in the States a couple weeks ago. He came back.
Okay. Yeah.
$5 from Zontar to say, tomorrow, can you guys do a stream watching the Artemis 2 launch? It'd be really cool. Seeing.
Don't you think you're more influenced when you're younger? No. I think people were influencing me a lot when I was 12, but now I'm 16, so I know better.
First man lunar orbit mission in our lifetime.
I
don't know if anyone's going to do a stream on that. I'm probably not. But $5 from Riz, what the fuck, to say, I've seen both of you get into usually ugly pylons on Twitter, and you both handle it really well. How do you deal with that without getting shook?
It's really fun.
What do you mean?
That's really it, yeah.
Well, you get used to it. Yeah, and also it's fun.
Yeah, well when you're fighting online.
Look, the thing is that this thing that people say, where they say that it's only online, it doesn't really bother people. That's not true. It does actually, but it's just the extent to which you let it bother you, and over time it can build up. I mean, I guess in online fights like this, it's when you get dogpiled in particular, it's always important to just take a step back and some fresh air before you respond to anything. Always important to do that, to think about if it's even worth responding.
And just remember on the other side of the screen, everyone's a fat loser. And you're
no, that's not true. That's not true. That is not true either. That's actually not necessarily a healthy way to see this either.
So I think maybe like 5 years ago I would have agreed with you, Kraut, but something happened in the past couple of years where now I just really love all the fighting. Something changed in me, and I'm just like, yes,
I hate it.
Let's fight with everyone constantly.
Hopefully,
I hate it.
Hopefully, you guys don't get too much pushback from this panel. I worry about that sometimes, that people get a lot of hate for just talking about Hasan and talking about leftists in general.
There are many Hasan supporters, by the way, that are trying to dig through Kraut's old stuff to find videos of him with Worski. So, just a heads up.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
I'm just saying that's what that space does. That's what these like far left.
If people like me or wanted to hang out and be friends, then that was great. If they didn't, then fine. If they were assholes about it, then fuck them. Can we hang out, Blanket? Please?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I criticized Hasan like yesterday, and my mentions all day have been like, you fucking suck, Whick. You are the worst, right? And so, anyway.
That's why we're doing this stream. I don't know how we got detracted into this. It's become genuinely uncomfortable to be a liberal creator online.
Yep.
I mean,
because of people like Hasan.
I think people like Hasan, but also I think like liberals do a bad job of supporting each other. Like I think liberals constantly don't feel like they have a space that they're allowed to occupy.
What do you mean with support? Like the thing
really
about
simple.
this is we're
really
very
simple.
disconnected. I don't really often talk to Destiny and stuff, and I actually see this as a good thing. I don't like. I appreciate the fact that we're not like the MAGA social media sphere where some figure gives out marching orders on what should be said, and everyone is like "Jawohl, mein Führer" and goes out and spouts the same nonsense.
Also,
I don't like that. I don't want this to be like Hasan.
The reason why it's hard to support liberals is because of the type of people we're talking about inviting into this thing. The reason why Hasan it's one of the big reasons why. Like Hasan doxed every single person he could in PV because of their association with me. That was the only reason he did that. Hasan calls Dylan Burns a war tourist or jumps on and shits on fucking Lonerbox, who's literally been on an island for like 12 months of content. Like Hasan has almost single-handedly tried to destroy this guy's career because of any resemblance to being pro-Israel or being associated with. Like that's what these people do. And then the conversation.
I agree.
Like, well,
you don't have to explain leftist doxing to me. I've personally experienced it and working to it. What I'm talking about with like liberals supporting each other. Yes, I agree. The leftists trying to destroy us is one of the biggest issues. Liberals always have it coming from both sides at all time, right? At all times. And so I agree with that. But I think one thing that liberals could do better to be proactive, rather than just being like, the fucking leftists are destroying us, is being more proactive at supporting each other. This is actually, I think, something that Destiny you're uniquely good at, right? You allow anyone to come on your platform. You typically try to support smaller content creators, right? But like,
I'm scared when an Austrian starts saying me, mein Führer. He probably knows the way it comes off, which is why it's funny.
I think it's really important, for example, that like in liberal spaces to have slightly soft landing places. Like me and Soy Pill disagree on certain stuff about like how to interact with things. I disagree with Josiah. I disagree with you. But we should like broadly try to do our best to like have criticisms for each other, but also have a decently soft landing place for one another and give a lot of grace to one another in a way that I see progressives will do with one another.
You mean that we have a corner where we check each other off? I don't necessarily see if that's...
This is not... What you're talking about has nothing to do with soft landing places. You're talking about inviting people... Like soft landing spaces are where you have areas to de-radicalize people who have more or less disavowed like the political ideology that they're coming from, or like are on the verge of doing it. You're talking about accepting people who see themselves as utilizing you to energize and supercharge their political ideology.
No, you're misunderstanding what I'm talking about right now. I understand why you're saying that. I'm not talking about right now, just what's going on. I'm not talking about like the socialists at all. I'm excluding them. I'm only talking about people actually who identify in the liberal camp or are in the liberal camp. And when I say a soft landing place for liberals, I'm not talking about converts, but I understand why you're confused. I'm actually talking about other liberals. Like for example, I typically try to go out of my way all the
Yeah, bitch. You're so stupid and your IQ is so low, and that's why you're confused. That's why you don't know what I'm talking about. Your IQ is like room temperature, okay? It's like you have 2 extra chromosomes, so you literally lack the capacity to understand. Sorry, she didn't put it that way whatsoever. I just like doing that.
Time to give other liberal content creators as many opportunities as I possibly can to like get into other spaces. And when progressives on Instagram started thinking I was a progressive, I started getting a whole bunch of offers, and I very quickly had to be like, oh, like just, you know, like I'm not really. I got a lot of Gaza offers and stuff, and I'd be like, oh, respectfully, I'm probably not the person that you're looking for necessarily here. But on liberal spaces, I see us doing very little of this, right? We very little. Like Course is probably the best example that liberals have done, but it was very nepotistic. What, Kraut?
That's part of who we are. That's part of our principles. We like pure pluralism. We embrace pluralism. We're also disconnected. There is no such thing as a liberal community online. There's a liberal space because...
Yeah, but it's not a good thing, dork.
We embrace difference. We embrace doing things...
I agree. This is why we should be able to unify better. Like you should be going and engaging with Fat Otaku and just like promoting and like, retweeting and promoting some of his
maybe coming on a panel together to talk about our issues with leftists in the space and others. Maybe something like that.
But also like if you get hit with an opportunity from a candidate that you actually think another liberal content creator would be a better fit for or should be pulled along, see if the candidate will work with this other liberal content creator too, right? When you see, for example, when I see any liberal content creators' content, I try to like and retweet and like create a little bit more engagement for their content so that we can like win the culture war, right? So like maybe this is an inherent nature to like what liberals tend to be like, but at the same time, we should try to counterman it so that people want to stay in this space and we're supporting one another and we like build something because we're getting it from all sides all the time.
I think people do want to stay in this space, but the thing is also, how do I put it?
It's not other liberals that are driving them out. I'll say that.
Do you mean in people staying in this space? Do you mean the audience or do you mean other creators?
Other creators, I think. If I'm understanding your question. I think so. If I'm understanding your question.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think, to piggyback off Kraut, maybe Kraut has a different answer. It's not liberals who are primarily driving others out of these spaces. Again, the reasons why it's sometimes hard to get people. If I have a show with Destiny, I have to make sure everyone knows that Destiny's going to be there because there's certain people who won't go on because they know that if they go on with Destiny, that they're going to catch hell.
That's the thing that I've had experience for the last 8 years of my life. Basically, every creator I publicly associated with instantly gets barraged with this guy used to be an anti-SJW YouTuber. You should not. Yeah, you should not. Like it's like that's true. Now that you're pointing this out,
and I think that's like the biggest issue.
We're not even purity testing ourselves. It's outsiders who come in who do not.
Hey, so What are we? A suicide squad?
Hold themselves to our fucking principles and then try to blackmail us on the basis of our principles.
I agree. And I think it's why, in some ways, we need to be a little bit more gentle with each other, because we should recognize that we're like getting it so much from like one another. Like I just dominantly, yes, like for example, what I don't know.
Just tell people multitasking to bring the stream up and like it. Guys, for the sake of Magabest, please bring up the stream and like the stream. Okay, Magabest likes it. Please, to make Magabest feel better. If you're like multitasking, can you hit the like button, please? Please.
The problem is that we barely engage with each other, and I think that is a good thing.
Way too many what? Jews!
Problem. That's like pluralism doesn't mean antithetical community.
Hope that helps.
Yeah, this is maybe the problem, right? Pluralism should not imply anti-community. But what we kind of have for liberals right now is a bit of an anti-community. There isn't like this large community. Chorus was the best thing that we have, but like it's getting attacked by leftists again, right? But also it was like pretty nepotistic. There wasn't like the people that were involved in it are the people who were like already.
There's no like button on Kick, then pull up YouTube.
Be friends with a lot of these types of content creators. And I think that like this stuff has to pull together a little bit better if we're ever going to pull people towards our sides. For people who thought like Hawes, for example, like or Sonsol back in the day, they thought that they were leftists and socialists, and then they interfaced more with like liberals.
Oh yeah, where the fuck is Sonsol these days? Sonsol actually like Sonsol like legitimately streamed with only like 5 viewers for like a year on YouTube. But before, when he was still on Twitch, before he got banned, he was streaming with like 100. I don't know. I'm making blini. Is that like potato pancakes?
And stuff, and they're like, oh no, I'm definitely a liberal, right? Like we need to be more effective at having this community space. Otherwise, yeah, nobody's ever going to rally behind each other, because unfortunately, you need numbers to change and move things.
Okay, $5 real quick. Okay. Let me get through a few more of these.
The problem, like when I think of like online communities, sorry, no, you do go ahead. It's your stream. Sorry.
No, you're fine. No, well, you're my guest, buddy. £10, I should say. Sorry, £10 from.
Gross.
Riz, what the fuck to say? Recommend checking out Neil Kinnock. If you don't know him, when our party was being taken over by these people, he famously said, "It's our party, damn it," and refused to let them win. I'm not sure about Neil Kinnock. I don't know him. Maybe you guys do.
He was the leader of the Labour Party during the Thatcher era.
Fair enough. Bogsy for $2 at Kraut. Re the old days. Do you still talk with a layman?
No.
Okay.
Oh, well, didn't he have cancer? Like he left for a long time, didn't he?
You are literally, I think you and Izzy are the only people from the old days. Okay, this is...
Wait, Kraut, can I ask you a question, actually? Because you can speak to this better than anyone, because I only have vague knowledge of German electoral politics, but like, when they build coalitions to have the...
Who's, you're so harsh on Whick. Well, I mean, like, it's his fault that he's so bald and white and old and weird. And he has a girl's voice.
Fuck, the German word is mad. Majority in the parliament. Like, when was the last time they did like a Jamaica coalition with the Green Party, right? Like, when would they like work these progressive or even like not Didinka?
There was one in the state. There was a Jamaica in the state before it. Yeah, there was a Jamaica coalition in the state.
And like some of these people's policies are principally anti-liberal, or at least fucking stupid to the degree of like, hey, let's dismantle every nuclear power plant, let's institute like more communism. Like,
the Greens are some of the most based liberals in Germany right now. Their entire foreign policy is basically burn Moscow to the ground. The most based libs there are.
Okay, I got the impression that the Green had a little bit of a more delusional lefty take, but again, I trust you more.
Some of them, but they're really, like, ever since the Russians invaded Ukraine, they've become very based as a party.
Okay.
Enough. $10 from Dirty Deeds to say, if not soy, then why does it increase my testosterone? I don't know. Thank you for $10.
Dirty Deeds sound dirt cheap.
Patrick to say, subscribe to Kraut. I like the cut of his jib. Well, thanks for $2, and thank you for subbing to my guests. 5 gifted
Dirty Deeds done dirt cheap.
Memberships from the same individual. Appreciate it, sir. $10 from Das Vildanya. If Soy Phil doesn't think Hasan isn't a big deal yet, fine. Best time to deal with him. It's better to deal with a problem early than let it grow too
Okay, what do you mean by deal?
large. Do you want to respond?
That person's mistaken. Obviously, I think Hasan's a big deal. He's one of the biggest voices. He's constantly shitting on the Democrats. I don't think that we shouldn't address like the insane things that he says to try to tear them down. So,
okay. $5 from Patrick to say, I'm voting for Mills in the primary, but I'm voting.
He's so fine. No, he's in decline.
For Plattner if he's a nominee. Collins has been my senator since I was 3 years old. Thank you for the $5. $5 from Alishness to say, doesn't Hasan just say anything for views? No matter how bad it gets, he can just up and leave to any country. His level of detachment fuels his words.
For now. I know some Polish people who are actually like, they're like, basically they plan to do like a dossier of sorts. They want to like, they know members of the Polish Senate and they want to investigate if there's a possibility that Hasan could be banned from traveling to the European Union because of his continuous Russian propagandizing. This guy shouldn't go on luxury holidays in fucking Italy anymore. If he praises an invasion of Europe, he shouldn't be
based?
fucking coming here. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck that guy. What the fuck? He hates the West so much, then stop living in it, bitch.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it's an extreme step.
It is an extreme step. I don't know if I agree with that, buddy. I think that's maybe a little too far.
It's not even an extreme step. This guy's illiberal. Get him the fuck out. Woo!
I agree with that one. Fuck him. That sounds based.
No, I think that's anti-liberal. I think we should.
Based.
Well, I understand you guys don't like.
Anti-liberal. See, this is what I'm talking about, okay? Like, Whick is such a strong, like, anti-leftist person, but then when it comes to, like, these illiberal things that sometimes you have to do to protect democracy, he's like, oh my god, please shut the fuck up now. Cease your whining, girl. This is why I'm misogynist.
Hasan, I don't like Hasan, but banning someone simply for having a different position than you do on a...
Being pro an invasion of your country and your continent and everything else? Yeah, I think it's based.
No.
Fuck them.
$5 from Patrick to say, do want to shout out Soy Pill's old video on the good people on both sides hoax. Great watch and level intellectual rigor. Really libs, the real libs expect.
Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for the $5. $5 from Real Determinatus. Soy Pill. These people are bad for us long term. The more we tolerate them, the more we are conflated, and the more votes we will lose. And they...
I don't disagree with their long term. Again, this is what I was trying to get into Ask Wick, and it's like, there are certain cases where you can show me, it's like, associating with these people is absolutely more harmful than not. And I would 100% agree. I just don't know if that's always the case. And I don't know to what extent I should use their help if they are materially helping something that I agree with.
So just to respond to that real quick, like, I don't have a, like, I'll just grant you that in certain cases, it might turn out well, it might turn out positively. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't perfectly predict the future. But I know that in 9 out of 10 cases, it's going to hurt us.
Who the fuck asked?
With their long term, again, this is what I was trying to... Thank you.
Yeah. And thank you for the $5. $5 from Real Determinatus. Soy Pill. These people are...
Oh, wait. The person is asking for a soy pill. You fucking bearded fuck. Like...
bad for us long term. The more we tolerate them, the more we are conflated, and the more votes we will lose. And they...
I don't disagree with their long term. Again, this is what I was trying to get into Ask Wick, and it's like, there are certain cases where you can show me, it's like, associating with these people is absolutely more harmful than not. And I would 100% agree. I just don't know if that's always the case. And I don't know to what extent I should use their help if they are materially helping something that I agree with.
So just to respond to that real quick, like, I don't have a, like, I'll just grant you that in certain cases, it might turn out well, it might turn out positively. I don't have a crystal ball. I can't perfectly predict the future.
Oh my god, who asked? Who asked? Who asked? Who asked? Hello? Askers? Fucking askers? I'm pretty sure that question was for soy. That donut was specifically saying, I want something out of soy. Okay, all right.
But I know that in 9 out of 10 cases, it's going to hurt us. So just because there's a 1 out of 10 because this has always happened before. Like, I can put you to the last few elections where I think we have done less good than we should have.
Moderators?
Because we've appealed to these people. And I think I can...
But isn't part of the problem we didn't just appeal to them? We tried to pretend that we were like them, like we adopted their ideas.
You got the cart before the horse there. They like took on our labels, right? Like the label progressive, right? If you'd asked me 5, maybe 10 years ago, like, hey, Wick, are you a progressive? I would have been more likely to say yes. But since people like Hasan have absconded that label and have worn that label, even though they are not progressive, they are something else entirely. But they are seen as progressive. They say they're progressive. They act like they act like they are the progressive movement. I think that word has become like a cancer, right? Does that make sense?
Yeah, but in many ways, we also adopted
Yes, Wick, that makes sense. Also, nobody cares.
A lot of their language. Like, I think a lot of Democrats, for example, got extremely woke in their language and got extremely concerned with like much more like intersectional stuff that wasn't really part of the liberal brand because it like felt good and they could like wear capes and be like, I'm actually, you know, for the people too, guys. Look at me. I'm a revolutionary. And I think that it was really damaging. Like, for example, there's this question of essentially like if you view this as like armies, is there an army that we can work alongside while fully recognizing the entire time that we will be diametrically opposed on a certain number of areas, despite the fact that we might be unified by a common enemy like right now?
I think that like bring it up because it's brain dead, not analogous, but that's literally what we did in World War II. It's like, yeah, as soon as this war's over, we're going to fight to the death with these people, but if we don't, then we're going to lose. But this is not analogous to today because it's not.
Why would you use this sort of? Why would you view politics of war? The purpose of politics is not to be war.
Right,
I think it's analogous to align like incentive structures. Like, how do you mobilize people with aligned incentive structures while acknowledging? I think the issue that we had with like the left from 2016 to 2022 is that standard libs and Democrats pretended that they were much more like the MLs. They took on a lot of the language and had some others robbed, right? But they in many ways didn't excise, didn't go, actually, we're not quite like these people. Like, you guys can fuck with us if you're for like helping us like further like antitrust policies. But
when was this discussion? Around the time when I visited your mom's house.
We're not going to fuck with you if you're like trying to just like fixate on like, let's say extreme like non-binary gender absolutionism or any of this stuff. Like, we're not really vibing with that shit. And I think that we sold out in that way. But the question is, can you at some times work with socialists who you understand you are disaligned with and not lose all of your values and principles in the first place.
Yeah, but the problem with that, as I was saying, like you're exactly correct. One of the problems that liberals and just the left in general has had is we feel a knee-jerk response to defend crazy people takes because they're on our side, right? We will see someone getting called out by libs of
But that's a good thing. Okay? Because the fucking right-wingers will always fucking defend their own side, Wick. You absolutely fucking patronizing, condescending fuck. Oh my god. Ugh.
talk or something, and they'll say, look at this liberal doing X.
I hate the way Wick walks. I hate the way Wick talks. I only like the way that he debates, okay? The only thing I like is when Wick is going full Exodia, edgelord mode, okay? But I hate everything else he stands for.
Y and Z, aren't they crazy? And because people see, well, hey, that guy's on my team, I have to defend him now. They'll do this weird thing where they defend things that they should just not. And it's in that way, it gets mixed into kind of like what a liberal is in a way that hurts us. Does that make sense?
Yeah, in the way that moderates are like, oh, I don't want to fuck with that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, most liberals aren't like this, right? Like, so this is to the point of, is there a way that liberals can stand on their own? And as we're like building this up, there are certain people that were socialist coded that we might need to work with that fundamentally will actually align with us. That's like the tactical question exclusively.
Okay.
Right? Are they sabotagers? Some of them will inevitably be, but some of them might just be like converts.
Like I said, I do stand by my 9 out of 10 rule, right? Like, and I think that, yes, you're right in certain cases, but 9 out of 10 times, it's just going to be worse for us and it's going to hurt us. So we shouldn't. $5 from just Das.
I don't know if that's true though, right? Like, Lauren, somebody in your, speaking of a super chat, just to give the super chat some money, somebody brought up Lauren P. So Lauren P has worked a little bit with Unfuck, which is not part of Unfuck. She's leftist coded, right? And she says that she's a leftist, but she's definitely a type of person that I wouldn't be surprised that if liberals were just a little bit more socially cool and a little bit like bigger in like the rhetoric game, that she would just basically be a liberal, right? I think that she broadly is gonna appeal to what she views as what the left dominantly holds. These are the type of people I'm worried that we would like chase away.
I don't know how to, like, what liberally socially cool means. Are we just not cool enough? I guess I don't know.
Liberals? No, I wouldn't say liberals are very cool. No. Republicans party harder than liberals.
Look, I'm not the expert on what cool is or not, right? But I'm just talking like, I guess I just fundamentally don't understand that mindset of someone who just wants to be cool and will go along with that crowd. I understand it exists. It's just something I'm not.
I understand it. It's on the internet all the time.
Yeah. $5 from Das Vidania to say the Republicans made that deal with MAGA. That's Soy Pill saying when he says he'd work with Hasan to further his own aims. It's true.
No, they didn't. They actively opposed them, and then MAGA won in the primary and then took over the party. It wasn't like, we'll work with you. They were adamantly anti-MAGA.
They immediately started working with him.
They won. Yeah, they won the primary, and it's like, well, okay, we're not going to like tank our whole election because Donald Trump is our candidate now. Like that's a different story. If Hasan is like promoting fucking Tankies in the primary, like, yeah, we need to fight back. And at that point, if he fucking wins the Democratic primary, if people like that win, I think we're fucked, just like MAGA's fucked.
€5 from T-Jill to Soy Pill. How many times was Ukraine mentioned on the No Forever Wars panel? Next to Dylan,
not enough, which is why I really appreciate that Dylan was there and didn't completely write it off just because Hasan fucking tried to dox them and send his mob after him.
My worry is how they will be using Dylan. I fear that they brought him onto, I think they may be trying to turn him into a token.
And who exactly is they? Who is this they you're talking about?
But I know that he won't be willing to be used in such a way, at least from what I know him to be like. So, yeah, they might be disappointed. I wouldn't be surprised if they purge
Destiny being more aggressive? Yes, I know. It gives you a boner.
him in a few months, or maybe even weeks.
I would bet that they wouldn't, but if I'm wrong, rub it in my face when it happens.
Fair enough.
Oh, I don't do that.
$10 from the chat
I was
box.
told by Eritude.
You're so German. I love how German you are. Like, it is simply a matter of fact. I do not have to tell you twice. Like,
The chatterbox for $10 says, speaking as someone who loathes Hasan's entire sphere of orbiters as a far lefty, I appreciate Mike from PA being the thumbnail for this stream. I've never fallen out with a lefty influencer harder. I think we can all agree. Fuck that guy. I hate him. So, anyway.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
$5 from Lost Coyote. If your ideology requires you to kill all the bad people to achieve utopia, it's probably bad.
Just once. Just one little purge. All right?
One purge only. $5 from Chatterbox. Question for Destiny. Is there room in a lefty coalition for good faith actors on the far left? Yes, we exist, like I try to be, or are we all awash?
It just depends on how ardently they support the candidate in the general.
Fair enough. £5 from Riz, what the fuck, says, is the anti-Semitism prevalent among the lefty tanky folks not disqualifying on its own? How could reasonable Democrats ever work with them?
Sorry, Jews, you guys lost. You're a lost cause. You should have got a better handle on Israel. Now we throw you to the fire as we try to save our country. Good luck.
It is something where...
we survived the fires in the 40s. We'll do it again. Right?
There was
Can't get rid of this.
There was an article written recently that I responded to because it was just horrific. It was like horrifically anti-Semitic. It was talking about how... the title of the...
Oh, Whick TV is completely cucked on the Israel versus Palestine shit. It's like I think I blame aristocracy. You know what? Fuck it. It's aristocracy's fault.
The article was yes, all
what was the meme again? Jewish hypno boobs. I forgot.
Jews. Okay, so just to give you an idea. Okay.
The meme was that Whick had a crush on aristocracy. My God, it's so weird. Aristocracy is like 30 years younger. My God. And the joke is that like because Whick is so simpish for aristocracy that like he'll defend Israel to the death for her.
Was it
Who's aristocracy? Somebody who was in Twitch poll whose like identity was just like, oh, Jewish Canadian who talks about Israel and Palestine history.
in German?
No, it's not a Jew.
Sounds-
But it basically,
VTuber.
Yeah.
basically, it was purportedly a Jewish author and a Jewish anti-Zionist who just basically said that the Jews are entirely responsible, that her people as a whole were responsible, not just the ones in Israel, but all Jewish institutions everywhere. It was horrific, and that in order to be anti-Zionist, you couldn't just hate Israel; you have to cheer on.
Sounds like you were not a fan. I think I liked Eris and I defended Eris against Present Sunday, but I think at some point she just started not making sense. Yeah, she just stopped making sense.
Hamas for the miracle of October 7th, just the most.
She was talking about how she felt like she wasn't safe in Canada and that there were people roaming around looking for Jews to lynch in Canada, like in the Canadian suburbs. Like that just feel like fearmonger porn. I don't know. It's weird.
This is essentially Hassan's position, but there's nobody that will call it out. So it's that's just a fight that I don't give a fuck about anymore.
I think he's a little more careful about how he talks about Jews.
But that's a
barely.
Yeah,
Barely.
So I
like basically okay. You know how crazy. Okay, wait, hold on. You know how crazy like these like Jewish newsletters are, right? I only know how crazy they are because Asmongold's audience signed me up to them. Because they used my email and they signed me up to a bunch of Jewish newsletters after I beefed with Asmongold. And essentially, like when I still haven't like unregistered from them, and when I read them, it's like some of the most unhinged shit I've ever seen. Like, no offense, of course. No, actually, all the offense. Like, it was just really weird, man.
I criticize this, right? In a tweet. I quote tweet it and I criticize it. And I have people in my mentions saying, no, that's just anti-Zionism. That's not anti-Semitism.
Then the article's titled, Yes, All Jews.
Yes, that's exactly. And so to the super
Are you
chat
calling
point,
me Nazi just
like
because I'm wearing this swastika?
the left, the far left especially, a vast majority of them would have fallen to this anti-Semitism. And I think if we care about anti-Semitism, and I do, that's one more reason.
Some extreme Muslims in Canada do literally stalk synagogues. Yeah, but, I think about it and I'm anti-Semitic, so whatever.
And even if it might be politically effective in the short term, no, we don't want this cancer with us.
Wait, I'm curious, Soy Pill, do you think it's fair to say that Hasan Piker's rhetoric
He just deafened himself.
Oh.
So wait till he undeafens and then you can ask your question again.
You should ask him Hassan versus Mitt Romney. I'm so curious what he would say.
Spoiler alert, he's going to say, no, I think maybe Hassan is a little bit yikesy, but in general, I wouldn't necessarily say Hassan is anti-Semitic. I think he mainly focuses on anti-Israel stuff. He's going to say something along basically that.
No one cheat and type in his chat the answer there. I want to see. Oh,
I am curious the answer.
Okay, go ahead.
Would you say? Do you think Hasan Piker, is it fair to say that his rhetoric has crossed the threshold into like pretty big anti-Semitism?
Yeah, of course.
Oh,
yes.
There we go.
Destiny. Rip. Okay, wait.
Wow, Destiny, bitch. This is why I'm an anti-fan now.
Hasan Piker or Mitt Romney? Who are you voting for?
No, me?
Mm-hmm.
Mitt Romney.
Good answer. Okay.
Yeah, bitch. Destiny. You don't believe enough in your friends.
$5 from Gromman.
Hey, he invented Obamacare to an extent,
True.
Now everyone
just another black creator trying to steal from us whites again.
Sweeper is in the getting L's in chat right now.
True. $5 from Gromman for the two Canadians.
Wait, how does that? If you think Hasan's rhetoric is expressly anti-Semitic, then even further, how do you justify working with him?
Because the degree to which he perpetuates it is masked enough that I don't think it's the same type of shit that Nick Fuentes is doing. Even it's fucking horrible. It's like, all right.
You know what? I appreciate him owning up to it, okay? If you admit that Hasan masks his rhetoric, if you can acknowledge he's anti-Semitic, but you don't care about that enough, you know what? Fuck it, okay? I think you're based. I think you're based for fessing up to it, okay? I actually unironically think you're based for fessing up to it, okay? Because as long as you're willing to acknowledge the reality, if you're willing to double down and die on the hill, even though you're able to work with the facts, then, like, what argument can I have against you, right? I don't really have an argument against you, right? The only thing I can really do is to point out, like, how being anti-Semitic is bad and not worth it. But then, like, at some point, like, I don't know what else to say.
Right? You can, like, every time you call him out for this anti-Semitism, there's a reason why his audience and anyone who is a useful idiot will come in and be like, well, actually, I think he's just being a little, anti-Israel here. And don't get me wrong, this still spreads like actual real anti-Semitism, I'm sure, to like the same kind of shit you see that Whick was just talking about.
All right, I'm going to say my initial prediction. I'm taking them on that one. Fuck you, Kyla. I'm taking them on that one, Kyla.
Because I literally...
I'll give it to you. I'll give you your flowers. I'll give you your flowers. You
less
get
harmful
it.
than explicit anti-Semitism. It's more masked. Like, yeah, like, I'm sorry. It's
So if they just
bad.
hide it a little
I don't even know if Hassan is masking. I'm not going to lie. Every time I tune into that motherfucker stream, which is not very often.
The anti-Semitism that Hasan does, which he absolutely does, and I'm acknowledging that, is just as bad as Nick Fuentes'?
It's worse.
It's worse.
No, it's worse. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Yeah, I agree. It's worse. No, I also agree. It's
World,
worse.
and we need to kill.
I think I always go back to the Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein saying like, God, what is it that Ethan Klein said? Ethan Klein said that, your anti-Semitism is worse than Candace Owens because you're the one that pushes forward the subtle blade. Okay, because it's the slow blade, the slow spear pierces the impenetrable shield. I don't fucking know, okay, but you get what I mean, right? Like, yeah, it's a subtle blade. It's like it's one of these like swords from Dune, the ones that pierces through the shield, but then you have to like try to move it slowly through the shield in order for it to like pierce through. Like if you move it too fast, then it doesn't work. Nick Fuentes' like fucking blade is like super fast, so it doesn't pierce through the shield. But then Hassan's blade is like slow, so yeah, that shit will go through for sure.
Why it's worse? No,
what are you
Soy Pill,
talking
stop.
about? It's so
Soy Pill,
obvious.
stop.
I have never heard. If you can find that, I've never heard Fuentes say that we should kill them all. That would be a position that's
Literally,
more
go to
likely.
the fucking, go to the speech where he's got the big screen behind him and he's talking about we need to like go to war with the Jewish people. Like, what are you talking about?
You understand why it's worse. Even if Fuentes did say that, what Hassan is doing is worse because it's normalizing it and masking it, and it's much more insidious.
No, if you think that Nick
because
Fuentes
it runs.
When you sleep, good night. Chanaz, join my Discord before you go. Discord.gg/Foodshops.
It gives people an excuse. It gives people an excuse.
No, please wait.
But if we're not in the Doom world, then Brute Force can work too. Okay, you know my point. Okay, fuck you. Okay, you're being too autistic with it.
No, this is insane. If you think that the
hold on, how many minorities you know that you say that you would hear say, I just wish they would just come out with it. It'd be much better if they just called me the N-word.
No,
I don't agree with
that's ridiculous. It's
it's much more when they mask it.
Do you think that Hassan's audience and like per capita is going to be more pro-Holocausting the Jews than Nick Fuentes' audience?
They would use different words, but they'd be.
I think a lot.
One of these is so much worse. I don't care that they're both bad.
They would be more pro-Holocausting it because for the neo-Nazi position is and has been Jews control all of our country. We want all the Jews out. They are in charge of things like great replacement, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
But neo-Nazis would never follow Jews to Israel. Hassan advocates for a project of the destruction of the state of Israel. He would support military action to do it. Much the same.
Hassan would say nuking Israel is base. This is terrible. It's fucking anti-Semitic. I'm not saying it's good. I'm saying one of these things is so much fucking worse.
Go ahead, Kraut.
I don't know.
I do genuinely believe that a substantial amount of Hassan's audience are
I think Kraut's spirit animal is Hitler.
They would believe anything that he tells them. That like if he told them that the sky is yellow, they would believe it or something like that. I think a lot of his audience are also just lonely, horny housewives, if that makes sense. Like it's debatable to what extent.
This is so ridiculous. Like, okay, Nick Fuentes is a neo-Nazi who says Jews have no place in civilization, and you're comparing this to Hassan, who is anti-Semitic, who is conflating Israel and Judaism, and is saying a bunch of horrible shit, and saying these things are worse than what Nick Fuentes is saying. I don't know what fucking reality we live in. This
because
is so
Hassan's anti-Semitism. Because
I don't know why I have to grade it though.
They're both bad, but like
Hassan's the neo-Nazi anti-Semitism doesn't extend past the borders of your country. It's because Jews are interested in destroying whatever the fabric of your country through mass migration or whatever else. But Hassan's anti-Semitism comes from an anti-Western, anti-imperialist place. Follow them to the Middle East where he would want them to be removed from Israel. That's why you're never going to hear from a neo-Nazi like go back to Brooklyn or whatever else, right? If anything, neo-Nazis would be happy if every Jew fucked off to Israel, whereas Hassan wants the country of Israel to be destroyed. They think that they literally say it.
No, neo-Nazis are also anti-Israel.
No, they're anti-America working with Israel.
No, you're thinking of like Christian nationalists that are specifically looking at this, but they're neo-Nazis.
Never mind. I don't hear neo-Nazis talk. When you say anti-Israel, Israel, insofar as they exert influence over the United States or force the U.S. to get involved with wars. That's why they say like America first, not Israel first, because Israel's making us go to war with Iran.
Yeah, but they also want to kill all the Jews because of that. Like that's what I'm saying. Well, why does that matter? If they're like, well, they want if the Jews left them alone, yeah, but they think that the Jews control everything and are evil. Like what is this distinction?
If we're not drawing a distinction there, then there's even less of a distinction between Hassan's perspective, which is that Zionism is inherently like what did he say on CNN? An ethno-religious supremacist nationalist project. Like, and 90% of Jews are Zionists, so he would call for basically the elimination of 90% of Jewish people. Like, what did he say before? What was it, 2 days ago? He said they should all go back to the...
I love Kraut. Well, I don't. I'm racist against Germans.
Russian oblast for Jews, like way off in the east. Like,
I don't know. Show me it. I'll grade it. I'll grade it next to the Jews don't belong in Western civilization, and maybe they are.
This is why you can't make these gambles, right? So the statement that I just said, right? So Soy Pill's chat literally agrees with this, right? How is that wrong? That's true, right? So your chat even agrees with these.
What are they agreeing with?
That all Zionism is an ethno-supremacist, religious supremacist project, and that the state of Israel
isn't Zionism ethno-supremacist?
No, it's not. Only if your understanding of that is a child's notion of.
Well, you've read a lot more in Israel than I have, so I can't say.
No,
but
how is it saying it's not saying it's a supremacist is by ethnically protecting a country? It has to be an ethnically supremacist position. That you can't cash that out.
If you're an ethno state that purges all non-Jews out of your area and then treats them differently within your society, I would say that's kind of ethno-supremacist. Yeah.
No, ethno-supremacist is different than.
Anyway, thoughts on Asmon versus Hasan? Asmon is easily worse, no question. I think that anybody who even compares the two is like ridiculous. Yeah. Asmon is easily worse. Asmon also hides his thoughts, but then he is way more blatant about it as well, and he introduces it to an audience that is not previously exposed to politics. Yeah, there is no question.
Protecting the ethnicity of a country, right?
So you think Asmon is worse than Nick Fuentes too? Yeah, easily. Easily, Asmongold is worse than Nick Fuentes. Easily.
In protecting it, you're expelling another people.
Like it isn't even a competition, okay? Nick Fuentes is not advocating, like Asmongold legitimately advocates for more violence than Nick Fuentes, and it's not even close.
And your explicit mission is to like get all the Gazans out of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. This is ethno-supremacist and religion supremacist.
I can't. If that's your perspective, then that's fine. They're just not the same thing.
Tell me why it's not. I mean, that's how it sounds to me.
It's not about one religion dominating another. It's about people feeling like they want to protect the ethnic group in their country.
That's
but this is like, they don't want to expel black people. They just want to protect the white population, right? Like you can phrase it that way, but like it seems to me that this is
white nationalists
prioritizing.
That doesn't make sense.
White supremacists do
and Zionists want to expel the Gazans and the Palestinians, right? Like that's kind of the whole mission.
You don't have to expel black people in the United States. There's no reason for that. They're not
ugly people are inferior. You're getting it now.
a threat to the white people, so it wouldn't make sense in that sense. Whereas for the Middle East, Jewish people are a huge minority in the Middle East, so there's a different rationale for that.
Yeah, but now you're justifying it.
Have
but
a remigration.
I'm not justifying it.
I'm just saying that the desire to protect the ethnicity comes from a different place than ethno-supremacy. It comes from a place of there's an ethnicity that a country wants to protect.
This is a distinction without a difference to me. If you're having a pro-ethno fucking position and expelling a bunch of people that are not of your ethnicity because, it's not because I'm better than them, it's because they're dangerous to me.
We can have a...
Black people commit too much crime. That's the only reason
we can have a Israel debate another day.
If there was ethnic Jews in Israel, but those ethnic Jews all flipped against Israel and were also like working with terrorist groups to attack Israeli civilians, do you think Israel would want them out? In the same way that they want like Hamas out?
I don't think that disproves what we're saying.
Well, potentially in this case, right? They might be willing to like try to barter.
If
it's about
in the same way, you're a traitorous white that's willing to work with the minorities, and you've betrayed your country and your peoples. Like, but I don't think that means they're not ethno-supremacists.
We can have this Israel debate another day. $5.
Well, you have to establish that Jews think that they're better, not that they're like worried about like safety.
For the two Canadians,
which they do.
So this is
by definition, Judaism is not like it's not a proselytizing religion. They don't even try to convert people into their fucking shit or whatever. Like, it doesn't
what the fuck, dude? What do you think birthright is? That's what they're constantly trying to do this shit.
They're not trying to convert people to Judaism.
Literally.
Yeah, I do think that Jews in general have a superiority complex. It's pretty annoying, okay? But it's okay. I tolerate them because they tolerate me.
Exactly not that. Birthright is bringing
they want them to come in and they try to make them more culturally Jewish and more religiously Jewish.
What does the birth part in birthright stand for? It's born.
I know that they're already Jewish by blood, but they want them to become more religious. That's like, dude, come on. Like,
no, they want them to join the country. They don't care about the religion.
Yeah, not just join the country. They want to indoctrinate them into the culture and the fucking religion. They do this all the time.
This is a leftist talking point. Judaism is not
literally Jewish. They literally do this. They pay people to go to synagogue in Israel and even here because they want them to become part of this Jewish cultural movement. This is just a thing. I'm not even saying this is a bad thing, but the idea that they're not promoting the religion is ridiculous.
The point of birthright is to bring Jews back to Israel so that they can show up their demographic majority so that they can absorb more Arabs that they have to.
It is a nationalist. Just to be clear, it is a nationalist.
It's not about going to temple or synagogue. Birthright is about getting.
They promote this as well as part of birthright. They literally promote religious teachings.
Okay. Hold on. You guys can debate this another day. $5 from Gronman for the two Canadians. So this is to Dev and to Erudite. Who do you think is more extreme, Hasan or Avi Lewis, the new head of the federal NDP, in terms of policy and how they act?
I don't know anything about Avi Lewis. I know that he's fighting with the Alberta people, but I don't know anything about Avi Lewis, frankly. I can't answer.
You would just get mad at Jews because the claims they are better seem plausible. Well, I mean, Jews are better, but then they're also like sometimes assholes about it. So it's like I'm conflicted, you know? Like they are better than everybody else, but then it's like you don't have to rub it in my face.
So sorry.
I mean, I know a little bit about him. Well, because to be honest, the NDP is just fucking irrelevant. Hasan is probably more irrelevant than anything happening at the NDP in total.
Yeah, he's probably a bigger existential threat to democracy than Avi. I would assume. I don't know who
like, haha, I get it. You had good parents. Bro, see, that's the problem is that Jews like will never pass up an opportunity to brag about the fact they have loving and supportive parents. That's fucked up, dude. Like stop doing that. Like seriously.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Avi.
€2 from Avi from Saxon to say Avi Lewis for the wind. Lex loves Wick ? I don't know if he does anymore, but $5 from Real Determinatus to say Soy Pill. It is unironically better for you to sit on that money or donate directly to candidates than give it to PV. Hell, invest it. Anything but PV.
I'm not talking about like money. First of all,
our Jewish moms are annoying too. My mom beat me when I was a child.
I do not have the money to like change elections. I'll donate like $20 to a candidate that I like. What I'm talking about is like, hey, a bunch of my audience is like, what do we do? What do we do? We're looking to you. And so when I see Destiny or Vosh do the shit where it's like, let's get all of you guys out here and try to flip this fucking seat that matters is going to help us get the Senate majority. I want to do that. And apparently there are other orgs that are not PV that are doing that. So I'll hop on there if they're the ones who aren't working with us on. So
yeah. $20 from Oda Shara to say Soy Pill. Which group of creators in these political...
Yeah, but she gave money last week. Well, more than that. She's a loving mother now. She said that back then she didn't understand. But she said that she regrets a lot of the things she did back then, and I love her now.
Projects would do more advocacy for the Democrats in general. Progressive Victory or Digital Ground Game? There is your answer.
Sounds like Digital Ground Game, yeah.
$5 from Audacity say all good points, but how does this ensure we give Israel another $578 bazillion, dudes?
True.
$10 from Odashara. Quote, who cares if they whine and moan, end quote. You should care.
I'm pretty sure I still think that this Odashara person, like from everything I've heard, like this person is like actually like lying about. This person is an impulsive liar, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I got here just in time. Good. You came in just in time for the anti-Semitism, which is the entire stream, by the way.
The type of rhetoric will create either unenthusiastic voters or more.
People should be happy that Jews don't want revenge. You sure they don't want revenge? Have you seen Netanyahu and people who support him? Guy's pretty unhinged.
On third-party voters. There needs to be enthusiastic support for Democrats. I think we all agree there. $5 from Audacity says, I feel like I'm watching the dudes who don't shower accuse the dudes who don't wear deodorant of sneaking up the joint. And then $5 more from Audacity say, Hannibal wins though, Wick. Fair enough. $20 from Metalworks. After watching the mini convo FD Signifier has had with Sitch and Adam.
I think that after Israel takes over the entirety of the Middle East, Israel is going to go straight for Germany next. Okay?
And watch vids of his basically promoting black socialist movements and associating assimilation in the U.S. to promoting whiteness. I don't think he's with us.
Yeah, he's ridiculous.
$5 from Ovi. Erudite. What is working is exactly what Steven is doing with Adam Kissinger. We need the left to fight against evil.
What is he doing with Adam Kissinger? I don't know.
I don't know, but he just owned you. That guy just owned you for sure.
Yeah, because he's...
Okay. You know how in Dune, the entire point of Dune is that Paul is like the white savior, and then he becomes kind of like the figure for like a holy war against the entire universe? That's how I imagine Israel, okay? After Israel, Israel is gonna have its like al-Gaid moment and then wage holy war against Europe. In order to take revenge for the Holocaust, right? It's like how the Fremen has been mistreated. So then they have to, because I know the Fremen are supposed to be like Middle Eastern Arab coded, like Muslim coded. Yeah, Muslim coded. Yeah, like holy war Muslim coded. But you can say the same, honestly, for Israeli Jews. Yeah.
Against me, even though we're basically aligned. Even though we're basically aligned.
Dono called out your name, so you're
because it legitimately feels like all the wars that Israel is waging right now, it does feel like holy wars. They won't say it, but 100%, it feels like they're holy wars. Yeah, it does feel like they're holy wars.
$5 $5 from Straight Shot to say.
And by the way, the same goes for Trump's admin, is that they want to bring about the doomsday, right? They are legitimately doomsday supporters. And in my opinion, yeah,
liberal,
that's also holy war.
Seed Israel, Tankies seed communal property. What the fuck are you talking about? This is an easy win. I guess if we liberals give up Israel, then they'll give up communal property.
Israel was promised to liberals 2,000 years ago. We're not giving it up.
I don't know. $10 from Natirius Stoa. I live in Los Angeles, and none of us normies think Newsom is a genocider. Most of the normies I know like him because he's standing up to Trump. That seems like a bigger factor to me. Yep. I guess this is reference to the enemy Charlie thing that you were saying earlier. Right?
Sure. It's just there just is a lot of socialist. I don't even want to speak for enemy Charlie because I don't know their exact specific positions. I don't know if they've ever.
Who's just casually repeating Fuentes' whole worldview as a joke?
Or talked about Gavin Newsom. They're just I don't know, just in LA, there are just a lot of these types of socialite people that are socialist, champagne socialist types that can easily be moved in one direction or the other based on what.
Charlie took
also, I think Gavin Newsom is based, and
she's on board.
I'm gonna call cap on that tweet because every single person I knew in California fucking hated Gavin Newsom, so I'm calling super mega cap on that tweet.
Fair enough. I don't know anyone in California because
I was going to say, all the LA people I know hate Gavin Newsom, but maybe I just know a select crew of LA people.
Gavin gets a lot of shit for his like homeless policies and his inefficiency, but like he's
and just because he's the current governor, so if there's anything you don't like about California,
I'm gonna speed through these.
All of California's bad stuff onto him too.
Yeah, I'm gonna speed through these so we can get back to the discussion. $5 from Mr. Gene. Middle ground probably is going to move away from genocidal, power-hungry people. That's just as bad as Republicans. $5 from Vishy. 1, I am getting wings for dinner. 2, my line is if that ContraPoint's critiquing power quote applies to a creator, they're out of the coalition. And 3,
Hell yeah. That one quote destroyed like the leftist movement forever. It's they don't want power; they just want to endlessly critique power, which is usually true.
It was a good quote.
Yeah, the issue is there's probably going to be a lot of leftists that agree with that we definitely don't want in the coalition. A lot of leftists also like to hate leftists. So
no one.
It's a slight modification of they say firebomb a Walmart, but then don't.
Yeah, well, that was the kill shot tweet to their entire ideology. Okay, $5 from Tauntaun. Dev, I sent you an email about a commission. Please respond. You guys can.
See, this is what I hate about. Okay, listen. Okay, I love that quote as much as the next person. Like, I legitimately like that quote. Like, oh yeah, they just want to endlessly criticize power, but that stance legitimately like kills so many discussions that it's not even funny anymore. Because I have heard Hutch use it against me. Like, I have heard Hutch use it against me. I have heard Hutch use it against other people. Like, he's not just using it against lefties now. He's using it against like liberals as well. It's like, yeah, it feels like such a conversation killer.
Yeah.
Okay, sure, yeah.
$10 from Kid H regarding unsophisticated LA leftists. If you're convinced they can be won over, then win them over. Only then consider events with them. Regardless, your time would likely be better spent elsewhere.
I could get Charlie on board in 10 seconds. So
it's just so it's just not a zero-sum game. It's like you can obviously just do both things. You can try.
And can you ask, okay, if it's Charlie, like the girl Charlie, can you ask if she's single? Because she said that she was a lesbian. I'm just wondering, okay.
Try to bolster liberal voices and invite like LA socialites to liberal events and collab with them. Like, it's just obvious that you could do both of these things. It's just obviously if I'm interfacing with somebody who is further and further left, my collabs with them are going to be increasingly caustic because we disagree about everything.
Okay, $10 from Dirty Deeds to say the answer is always very simple. Ask yourself if X creator explains a worldview and you are willing to fight and die to prevent what they want, they are not your friend. $10 from Niman Abedi. When is unfuck America?
Fuck America.
Fuck on America. When is Unfuck America going to make college chapters to challenge the Kirkjugended and YDSA losers?
They already are. I'm pretty sure, right?
Don't know.
They're trying to make college chapters.
These people are far more effective in organizing their groups than anything that left-wing or liberal people do, to be honest. Like, Dave and I probably remember some of the shit. Like, they're far more tight to organize in terms of like the groups they do. And it's literally like orders that people follow.
Well, yeah, you guys used to be part of like that kind of like scene, if you will. What did they do that liberals don't?
From what I remember,
from an organization perspective, yes.
We had a chat group, and when something happened, we all basically came together to have our talking points that we would use.
Why am I not there?
Prepared and ready.
Why am I not there?
Oh.
What the fuck?
$10 from Ben
There's
Riley.
like 20 of us in there, I think, at the height of it.
Invite us?
I mean, if they
Invite
get
me?
kicked out of the party, they may not vote for Dems. Also, progressivism developed as a critique of liberalism in the 1900s with people like Teddy Roosevelt. And finally, $10 from the Shaggy Horse. Liberals have no motion right now. You guys are so culturally stagnant, stuck in millennial sadness. Culture has lapped you guys so badly, and instead of trying to improve, you guys lash out. Not cool.
Gotta say, Gen Z's culture is just stealing.
I mean, that's kind of true. I do think that's true. I do think that's true. Okay? Like, when you think of liberals, it's all like fucking erudites and destinies and hutches. Like, what are these guys? In their 30s? It's over. It's fucking over. All of these guys are in their 30s. It's cooked. Okay? It's over. We're not capturing the younger generation. We're dying here.
Millennial culture and thinking it's theirs. Like, the amount of like emo and punk, it's just true. Just look at the major social cultural movements of like fad and trends that Gen Z has made. Baggy pants.
Okay,
I don't know.
Millennials are more.
They love millennial shit. They love millennial shit.
You missed a bunch, Wick, because there was one I wanted to answer.
Oh, which one did I miss?
There was one.
This is copium, okay? This is like a millennial trying to cope with the fact that everybody is leaving millennial culture behind and everybody hates millennials. So the millennial has to convince themselves that people still like millennial culture, okay? That's definitely pure copium.
It was directed to Erudite. It was directed to Erudite and I.
Let me see.
Wasn't it the Avi one? There was one to me and you. It was about, okay. What was it? One. Do you remember it?
It was something about Trump being more corrupt than Trudeau or vice versa.
Hold on, I'm looking. I missed a couple, yeah. $5 from Ove again to say anyone that likes One Piece and yells "but the genocide" every day to be excluded from the movement. Okay. $5 from Straight Shot. Can any of the panelists name an anti-Zionist that also happens to be a liberal?
Tony Judd.
I'm kind of an anti-Zionist, I think. But it sounds like that's like a poison word now. Maybe I don't fully understand it.
Like,
but...
I don't like anti-Zionist is a mask word in a lot of ways. And,
Tony Judd was, sorry to correct myself, Tony Judd was more of a social democrat, but he was anti-Zionist, democratic liberal wing, I guess. I mean, you could take the position that nationalism is bad, and in particular the European liberal position that nationality should become a choice, that what nationality you are should be as simple as learning a language. And from that perspective, you can make an anti-Zionist liberal case, definitely. Yeah.
Boo Woomer says for $5, are liberals able to assert that people who immigrate to Western countries should assimilate to the culture of said country, language, beliefs, etc.?
Yes, I think so.
Preferable.
To some level, yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's just like what
for all the ones that don't, their kids inevitably do.
What a like a MAGA groiper means when they say assimilate, and what a like a left liberal means when they say assimilate. It's just like obviously not the same thing. So you're gonna get into
and on that, I have more in common with an illegal immigrant who doesn't speak English but came to California than I do with a fucking MAGA groiper in like Tennessee. So like it depends on what level of assimilation we're looking for.
Yeah. $5 from Ove. Can we get a collab and get Lauren Peretra and Monte Madre? I have faith that Kyla can bring them on our side. I don't know those people.
Lauren P is the unfuck girl that I was talking about before.
Okay.
It's kind of like LA, kind of, yeah.
I don't know who Monte Madre.
Unfuck girl, but can I get some fuck in some girl ASAP? I'm going. Okay, stop. Fringe.
Not sure.
$5 from Granite Hard. Erudite keeps conflating any interaction with working with a creator on a political project. We interact with leftists by disagreeing with them.
But I don't believe I've ever conflated these two things, but good luck to you in watching content.
Chavakia for $5. Question to the entire panel. Do we all agree that the critique the far left makes against Gavin is bullshit and should be ignored regarding trans stuff?
Yeah.
Good one, Foodie. It was not a good one. I fucked your mom last night.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
He's like explicitly pro-trans in like several different ways and passed a bunch of pro-trans legislation. It was literally like ahead of the curve on LGBT issues than any other person in California. Not any other person, but for the most politicians. And the idea that it's like, but he'll throw trans people in the bus.
Is this because he went on a podcast with
he said trans women shouldn't be in sports, I'm pretty sure, which is like true. Obviously.
I don't even know if it's that. He said like there are questions.
Hold on, this is a good example of why appealing to leftists is just a fool's errand, because as soon as you say something that's off script, it doesn't matter what you've done in the past.
Respectfully. Can you point to the person in this call that wants to appeal to leftists?
I'm saying it to the audience who, in my chat, there are plenty of people who are disagreeing with me. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah, no, I had a recent dust up.
Respectfully, Wick, nobody gives a fuck. Respectfully, Wick, I don't like you.
With a very big left-wing VTuber named Niara, who basically said the same thing, because I'm not pro-trans women and women's sports.
Nayara is probably single-handedly responsible for setting back trans rights by 20 years, okay? Her cringe tweets, every single time she makes a cringe tweet, another trans woman has committed suicide, okay? That's what happens with people with Nayara when they're giving a microphone, okay? She is contributing to like 20% of the 41%.
I was the same as someone who was far-right and wanted her detrans, and I'm like, this is fucking insane. This is the most retarded conversation I've ever had.
It was just like weirdly like privilege. Like it's just like, it's either privilege or you're lying. Like you don't actually obviously mean that. Them. If you think about it for like 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
$5 from Fancy Teeth. Why is this so hard? These people are saboteurs. Why are we helping them? True. $5 from Real Determinatus.
Wait, pause on that one. Wait, so like, if anyone's asking me like, hey, should we like capitulate to like a Hasan point? Or like, should we prop up Hasan's movement? The answer is obviously fucking no, because I think it's insane and terrible and harmful, and there are saboteurs. The question is, should we let them help us if we think that would benefit us more? Not, are we propping them up?
Yes.
In what?
Correct. This is the question. This is the practical question.
In what way would we let them help us? Like I said, if they are willing to come and work with us, I think that's a different question than if they get together a political movement.
You still got beef with Wick? I wouldn't say we got beef. Like we're not. It's not like we're like actively making reactions of one another. That's not happening. Okay. But it's more like I dislike him as a person fundamentally. I just don't like him.
And say, we want liberal creators to come out and help us with this. I think those are two separate questions. Does that make sense?
Well, probably in part depends on what they want help with.
Yeah,
like, if what they want help with is like
conditions,
yeah,
have to see.
It's always going to be policy. It's always going to be the question of like, well, what are we doing?
But
right,
again,
if you want me to support your
super
leftist candidate, no. If you want me to support a Democrat against a Republican every single time, yes, of course.
But the rule of thumb here still stands for me: is that 9 times out of 10, it's going to go badly for you.
I'm gonna source on that one.
What do you mean? I don't really understand that.
You being seen working with these people is going to be so cancerous. It's like they have a stench, and that's going to rub off on you. And you have to take that.
I feel like moderates are so much more like they're just like less animal like as an audience. Like I feel like if I spent a lot of time with progressives, but and like leftists, but I'm like sufficiently pushing back more or less on all the things that we disagree on or whatever, I don't think anyone would be like, I mean, I like that Kyla girl, but like, she talks to FD signifier. I think as long as it's like, yeah, I mean, I disagree with FD signifier on significant enough things, right? The real question is, do we help them in like political campaigning in areas where they're like robbing and stealing us of our culture? And do we let them take our language? And more importantly, do we take on their language? And the answer obviously has to be no. Liberals should have a backbone and a culture and a community and stand by it and defend one another and protect each other and support each other and blah, 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 blah.
I don't think so. I think a lot of moderates are turned off when we work with leftists and things like that. I think that
Oh my god, shut the fuck up, Whick. You're actually just wrong on that, Whick. You're actually just incorrect, okay? Moderates already think of us as the lefties. The reason why they think of us as the lefties is because MAGA propaganda is in their ears, okay? Also, stop saying that they're moderates, okay? It's either liberals or extremists, okay? You're either a liberal or you're an extremist, okay? Because if you're still moderate after like 10 years of MAGA, then frankly, I don't want to appeal to you anymore. You are beyond delusional, okay? I think that if you're still like in the center of like the fucking like the center of the political scale after 10 years of MAGA, I think that you should be rounded up and put into an internment camp, okay? Because people like you should not be allowed to vote.
a lot of them will just abandon us if they do that. And that,
Really?
is that
I feel like
wise
they'll
of
abandon
them
us if
to
we
do? I don't
say.
know, but that
I
is
think they'll
something
abandon
I've
us if we
noticed in
say
the
gender
general
doesn't
election.
exist and we should abolish gender. But I don't think they'd abandon us if we like.
And that's capitulating to a leftist narrative. That's not working with a leftist. And to be fair, if you're leaving my movement because I'm working with someone who I don't agree with, who says I'm supporting you, then you don't support my movement. And you
I'm not
should
even
be
sure
upset.
about that. Like I've embraced like the pronoun thing entirely on my channel, in my community.
Not even
I
in your
don't see
name?
liberals. I don't. Well, yeah. I have
Okay, I'm not
pronouns,
talking
but
liberal. Okay, I'm
but it's
talking moderates
I,
and
I've
center-right
completely,
people.
I've completely adopted that because there are a significant number of what is the word, genderqueer and trans people in my community, and to make them more comfortable, I said, yeah, fine, I'll adopt this
Fuck is genderqueer?
for you. I didn't see all the liberals running away.
Well, I'm
It's,
not
it's
talking,
like
again,
such
I'm
a
not talking-
minor fucking thing.
Moderates
like,
and liberals are two separate groups to me.
Yeah.
I think that there's
like,
some
like
overlap.
conceding to that
Okay, cool. Nobody asked for your fucking opinion, Whick.
thing, people
Well,
didn't run away.
They're kind of all under the
Gosh.
same. Like a liberal could, depending on how you're defining it, could extend all the way to like neocons, obviously.
Wait, I'm going to be
The
aggro now.
pronoun-
Wick. I need to ask Wick. To what degree are you willing to work with people who will drop your entire movement because of some stupid lefty cultural bullshit? Tolly,
I'm not.
You know, for
I'm not.
example, where it's like, oh,
what-
you're going to
it
vote for
depends what you
fucking
mean, work with them.
Trump because you got annoyed by the wokes. Like, this is also someone where it's like, okay, you clearly
Yeah.
don't.
I think of myself as center left, but when I took the political compass test twice, but I ended up a lot more left than that. Oh, okay. Oh, snap, I remember. That's dope. Hey, congratulations.
Give a shit about these like movements. You don't give a shit about
Yes, and I don't think I'd invite. I would if Tali invited. Like, I wouldn't work with her on like a political project to collaborate,
like a
to build
podcast that you
movement.
host about
But I would
politics.
have her on my show.
Wait. I just want to say real quick. Wait. Because Soy Pill is, you're very good at, like, you speak very honestly without realizing how honest you're being. Every single time you were challenging my position earlier, you kept saying,
How could you associate with destiny? Frankly, I would associate myself with Hitler if it means beating the Republicans, okay?
like somebody that was like slightly critical or somebody like, oh, I guess it's onto some bad things. Like your words are very like couched. But for here, you actually just restated my position perfectly, in which I could have answered you perfectly. You said, would you work with Talia or whatever? This is that one. Is she that Jew girl who hates fucking trans people?
Yes.
You said, would you work with her if she wasn't willing to support your candidate? No, that was so easy.
Bro, the Jew girl. Okay, to be very frank, okay? To be extremely frank, Jewish representation online is cut. Jewish representation online is cut. Okay? And it isn't just because everybody else is anti-Semitic, it's because every single like Jewish figure in this entire space is cut. Okay? Tally for one, okay? Avi Bitterman for another, okay? That guy's a insane pro-Zionist, colonialist like person, okay? Who else fucking flew off the deep end? I don't know, like every single Jewish content creator in this entire Oh, Mr. Girl. Mr. Girl is also Jewish. Okay? Mr. Girl is also Jewish. That's cucked. Okay? Oh yeah, Lav Lun is also Jewish. Okay? Wow. Amazing, isn't it? It's over. It's over. Okay? It's fucking over for Jews. All right? Like, every single Jewish representation in this entire space is fucking Jover.
But you perfectly, with absolute clarity, stated my position there. It's interesting that you could state it so clearly there with regards to her, but seem to obfuscate or soften the language when it ever had to do with anybody alive. That was very interesting.
And if Tali is willing to raise money for my candidate, if Tali's willing to promote a candidate that I support, then I would work with her. That's the point. So the instant Hassan,
again,
he's clearly indicating he won't support someone of the general.
If we mean
is not someone
on the
Foodie is noticing perhaps she really would work with if Hitler. Listen to me, okay? If Hitler was a Democratic politician and ran on a Democrat agenda, I think voting for him would have a non-zero chance, okay?
Oh, talk with her. Yes. If we mean work with, as in put together like a coalition, right? To kind of like...
Yeah, obviously. That's what everyone means, obviously.
Yes.
Soy Pill, also to your earlier thing, the pronouns in my bio are a joke. It's
I'm not actually shitting on you for it. It's fine.
No, you know who Viktor Orban is, right? The Prime Minister of Hungary, the right-wing one? So he frequently goes to CPAC in the US, and there he gives speeches in English where he tells you Americans that he saved Hungary from gender pronouns. Hungarian is a gender-neutral language.
I watched this.
There are no gender pronouns in Hungarian. That's the joke. There's only the pronouns That's it. Like it's literally a grift. He's saving Hungary from something that doesn't exist. So that's why when you find Hungarian libs and left-wingers on social media, they often put the pronouns in their bio to make fun of that fact, because he would never give that speech in Hungarian because it wouldn't make sense.
Sure.
That's basically that.
Here's the one that you wanted to answer. I found it, Mr. Dev. This is from Shuo. Kylo once implied Trudeau was as bad as...
That's Chinese, right? So, right?
Trump, and equally corrupt.
No, I didn't.
As Canadians, do Dev and Kylo both believe that? Would they have voted Trudeau over PP?
So would I have voted for Trump over Trudeau?
Over
no.
PP.
Of course not. I mean,
PP was the conservative leader, actually.
Okay.
No, obviously not.
Fair enough.
The fuck?
Well, see, Trudeau was really fucking corrupt, though. Trudeau was not a great.
Thank you. Every American that gets so twisted about one joke that I made to an ailing old man, which is I love black people. What's his name? Peterson. Jesse. Yeah. Is so obnoxious because every Canadian
was Trudeau that bad though?
Tell you, Trudeau is super corrupt. A lot of Canadians don't like Trudeau. Typically, I voted NDP actually, so you're welcome.
Yeah, there was a lot of.
Was the last guy I voted for.
There were several high-profile scandals in Canada. There was the We Charity scandal, the SNC Lavalin scandal.
SNC huge.
Yes. Oh my God.
Fucking mind-blowing, huge.
Canadian
which is why when fucking Americans are like, I made one joke where I was like, oh man, it's tough between Trump and Trudeau. It's not actually Trump tough. Obviously, it's still Trudeau. But Trudeau sucks. That's the joke. Welcome to the joke. Trudeau sucks and Canadians don't like him.
What Trudeau did in the SNC Lavalin scandal is Trump-like.
Who cares about Canada? Fake country.
And
it was horrifying. But nobody knows this. Nobody cares. Canada
and then also, it was a few months ago, I think, the Canadian Supreme Court ruled that the emergency powers Trudeau used during the trucker protest was unconstitutional. Like, Trudeau was a terrible prime minister.
Okay.
It doesn't mean that liberals in Canada are terrible, but he was just uniquely bad for the Liberal Party.
Fair enough.
He just had his reputation saved by Trump.
$2 for the One Hero HQ to say Whick is right. We should just prefer you to say it. Okay, well, thank you for that. I do appreciate you. $5 from Real Determinatus to say Soy Pill will unironically support the second worst person on a topic by virtue of them not being the number one worst person on a topic.
Support them?
Wait,
I think that's doing a lot of heavy lifting there for support.
$5 from Adashara to say Soy Pill, yes or no? Channeling his inner peace.
Yes.
If the Jews became the minority because all of Israel was taken over, do you think there would be a second Holocaust?
Oh, yeah, probably. I mean, they're surrounded by people that want to kill them.
Okay. Tectonic for $10.
Wait, how can you be anti-Zionist? How does that make sense?
Because Zionism is like, well, Jews need a homeland and it has to be in the specific place that's going to cause constant war and turmoil. And I don't know if I support that. I think that, yeah, there should be a place that Jews can call their home, given the fact that they're kicked out of fucking everywhere and there's anti-Semitism everywhere. But the idea that the only solution to this is to establish in this historical homeland that is never, ever going to be solved, it is constantly going to be having war fought back and forth and killing millions and millions of people. I just think it's ridiculous. I think this is a stupid religious dogmatic.
Wait, where should they go
argument. They should just spread out into other countries. I don't think you can just give them a fucking homeland. I think it's just a ridiculous
proposition. The whole point of Zionism is that diaspora is constantly genocided against, which is why they want this, right? Because Jews
give them Manhattan Island, give them Brooklyn. Do a Native American thing. Give them a fucking reservation in America somewhere. I don't know. Like the idea that it has to be in Israel is just ridiculous.
As a case in point, okay.
Make him answer.
You're advocating for the full ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel, right?
No.
Just say yes.
No, because obviously this can't work anyway. We're already into deep at this point.
Just say. By the way, the position
I don't want the full ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel.
This is what I mean when I say leftists have a more anti-Semitic position than that would cash out into a more anti-Semitic position than neo-Nazis do. What do you mean you don't? You just said you want them to flee Israel and go to all other places on the planet. That's an ethnic cleansing from Israel.
Clarify. Obviously, this is not available now. They've been established there for 80 years. Okay, now I don't know what the fuck you do. It is if you snap my fingers and teleport Israel, like lift it up like a big island and drop it next to fucking Manhattan, I would, and that would be ethnic cleansing. But they don't really need to travel into Libya and Egypt and all this shit. But like, no, I don't want to like expel them. I don't think we should kick them off their land. Obviously, there's too established. This is like saying like, yeah, I don't support the genocide and the expelling of Native Americans, but guess what? It's been fucking like 400 years. I don't know how you rectify this at that point. You need to find a way to like, I don't know how to fucking solve Israel-Palestine. But no, obviously, what I mean is the project of Zionism to establish it in Israel and the way that they did this, I think was destructive as fuck. I think it's led to all these problems. I think they should have chosen something different at the time. Yeah, and so the idea,
when you're saying anti-Zionist, as in you don't want them to be the majority in their country anymore. So then what is that?
Is that what anti-Zionism is? I'm not saying that they can't be the majority unless being the majority in their country.
Zionism is where you have a Jewish majority in Israel because it's an ethno-protected majority. Yeah, so if you're anti-Zionist.
There's like, I think there are 200,000 Palestinians living in Israel right now. I think. I'm not entirely sure.
If the way that you are establishing this ethnic majority is that you expel minorities and like steal their land and kill people, yeah, then I'm anti that.
So they've already done that.
Realistically,
wait, because nobody ever has to answer this question at 11. They say they're anti-Zionist. I know why, but I'm just curious. Okay. Like, so what is the solution then? It's the ethnic cleansing of Jews from Israel.
Is the okay? So are you giving a dichotomy between? First of all, the idea that I can solve Israel Palestine is ridiculous because I'm fucking retarded. But second of all, you're asking me if you're asking me the dichotomy between what they're doing in the West Bank and Gaza and not doing that, I think there's probably a better thing to do. And just because I don't know exactly what they should do doesn't mean I'm anti-Jew or anti-fucking like.
I never said you're anti-Jew.
2 million Arab Jews, yeah, but that doesn't count because they're still Jewish. I'm talking about Palestinians.
Cleansing.
I thought it was 2 million. Oh yeah, Radiant said 2 million Arab Jews. You probably asked Jarvis.
This is why I hate that the whole leftist people have decided to purity test on this one issue because the position is totally untenable. No, I'm not saying you are, but all the other people that you listen to or that are on the far left, they purity test on this position. Like when somebody says they're anti-Zionist, I just don't know what that means. What does it actually?
I'm anti-Israel's project of ethnically cleansing Gazans right now.
Okay. Your first.
So if they stopped in Gaza, just real quick, hold on. If they stopped in,
no Arabs of any type, yeah, but like Arabs, okay. I just want to care about Palestine.
Gaza today stopped in the West Bank, but still kept their ratios for how many ethnic Jews are in the country versus how many other ethnicities are in the country. You'd be okay with that?
How do they enforce their ethnic ratios?
By only letting in ethnic Jews and expelling, if it goes above a certain amount, the other.
And if I say I'm not okay with this, does that mean I'm pro-Israel being ethnically cleansed because there's a hypothetical
because the thing you have to contend with is that on a realistic level, that's what would happen.
Not all ethnic cleansing is necessarily bad. I think we should ethnically cleanse Turkish people from West Hollywood, personally. I don't think all ethnic cleansing is necessarily bad, but just like own the position.
Okay, wait. To be fair.
I want to ethnically cleanse the suburbs of white people. I want to ethnically cleanse the suburbs in general, actually. I think the suburbs fucking suck.
Like, I know that was a meme, but do you actually, like, when is ethnic cleansing justified? Like Chinese Exclusion Act type stuff, or like, oh, we can only have this ratio of like this type of people in this country. Is it ever justified?
Yeah, probably is.
It's
but
never. It's never
justified. Shut the fuck up. The reason why it's hard to have this conversation as an American is because we get to take our ethnicity or national identity for granted because we're never threatened by anybody because we have way too many fucking people. So it's not a question for us. But if we had countries to the north, if Canada had 10 billion people and Mexico had 30 billion people, we would be having questions about what the American ethnicity is and how we need to protect it all the time. But we don't. We don't have that many immigrants.
But I wouldn't support that. I would say, look, if it turns out that we just get a bunch of Canadians and Mexicans and this transforms our country,
every single person in Canada, every single person in Mexico is a Nazi, and we lived in the United States of America, and we have 300 million people.
You guys want Kraut to come on stream? I can DM him anytime. Wouldn't that be cool?
That 500 million Nazis from Canada wanted to immigrate into the United States. You would accept that unquestionably. You wouldn't have.
I just don't know what we would talk about.
I wouldn't promote an ethnic cleansing. No, I wouldn't. And yeah, I think we have a far different problem if you have an ideology so pervasive that it's going to destroy your entire democracy.
What did you talk about? Yeah, but then it would just feel like it would just feel like having a cool person on stream because they're cool. Like, yeah, like.
And coming in like people, you're sounding like the people talking about. No. You're talking like the people talking about. Okay, Muslims are coming into this country. Muslims want to destroy the democracy, so we should ethnically cleanse Muslims from Europe.
We don't have that many Muslims coming here. It's not a problem.
There's millions, but there's millions of them. There's
330 million strong. Millions is nothing to us.
You want to ask Kraut if he thinks Hassan or Asmongold is worse? Oh, good question.
What about Germany? Should Germany ethnically cleanse Muslims or only?
Okay, yeah, I'll send him a DM.
Population of 80 million. Well, okay, you said it's justified.
No, hold on, let Destiny go.
There's 14 million Syrian refugees coming in.
It's such a worthless position. You can't even engage critically with the position. We are not. If there were 10 billion Muslims to the north that wanted to destroy democracy in America, and 500 million wanted to immigrate, I think I would have some questions about that. I think most reasonable people would. We don't have to worry about that. There are 7 million Jews.
Kraut says, "Oh, I say nice videos as a strong anti-leftist, anti-Nazi liberal. Kraut, nice streams. Not entirely sure where you are politically."
In Israel, in a region surrounded by a billion Arab/Muslims. They do have another question about that. A lot of these Arab majority states literally have their ethnic identity protected in their constitution, but they just don't deal with it much because there's not a billion Chinese people trying to immigrate to fucking Pakistan. You can be against that. Wait, no. Okay. You can be against it, but it doesn't matter that you're against it.
It's like
it doesn't cash out at
the
anything.
law
They don't
prevents...
enforce the ethnic majority of fucking Afghanistan.
Hold on. No, Soy Pill.
Or Iraq.
Soy Pill. The law...
Neighbor versus over, the server icon can now be ungraped. Thank you, Foodshops. Lewis, I'm sorry, but I don't have the original GIF anymore. Does anybody have the original GIF of the raccoon rolling?
Prevents rich people and poor people alike from stealing a loaf of bread, right? That law is obviously going to only affect the poor people in a realistic sense. What you have to engage with, and what anti-Zionists have to engage with, and they're, I'm not asking you to solve Israel-Palestine, but if these protections for the ethno-state, and it is an ethno-state, of Israel went away, they would be under massive threat. It would have.
Right. And if you're giving me the trolley problem of either support ethnic cleansing or your country is taken over by neo-Nazis, like, yeah, I guess, but like, I don't know how you map this onto reality when there are potentially infinite solutions in between those of making a project that doesn't involve ethnic cleansing that solves this, and going to extreme hypotheticals of, yeah, if there were 10 billion Nazis in Canada and they're all coming in, well, yeah, obviously I don't want Nazis in my fucking country. This would suck. But the idea that like, okay, therefore you support ethnic cleansing, it's like, this isn't what we're talking about necessarily. We're talking about specific situations that, okay, go ahead.
You're saying support extreme hypotheticals, like Hamas is not an organization that was supported by Hezbollah, that lived to the north of Israel, that was supported by Iran, that was basically the largest player in the region, that was tangentially, peripherally supported by the Houthis. You're like, hypothetically, like I can never even imagine this to be the case, but this is like the reality.
The hypothetical is either you ethnically cleanse or you die.
No, that's the
hypothetical you gave me, right? Either ethnically cleanse.
I'm telling you, why are you restating it? Why are you just filibustering? The hypothetical was, do you protect the ethnic majority of your country, or do you become an ethnic minority and then die? That's the hypothetical. Okay, but that's the reality for Israel.
Using this logic, should Germany expel all the Syrians?
How many Syrians are
like
in
10
Germany?
to 14 million. And an 80 million.
No, there's a million.
14
million. Wasn't it 10 to 14 million?
Was it the whole Syrian? Wasn't it like 14 million people that all left Syria? Like the entire Syrian diaspora was 14 million
maybe
people?
I'm mixing up the numbers. Let's say it's a million in Germany of a population of 80 million.
Typical leftist tactic.
No, I was just wrong. I'm admitting that. I got the number mixed up. If it's a million and 80 million, should they start ethnically cleansing them if more and more people are coming and they're subverting the culture?
No, it won't get to that point because those countries protect their immigration. They don't accept that many people. So they don't get to that point.
And typically people assimilate over time. Like the reason why, like in part, we're not super concerned about Muslims coming to
America. That's the point, is that it's not a dichotomy between ethnic cleansing and death.
Yes, no, I agree, because they protect their immigration and they did it in a certain
Israel.
space and time. Yes.
That's the dichotomy, because for the one-staters, for all the lefties now that are pro-Palestinian, they want Israel to be a single state that accepts every single Palestinian as an Israeli citizen, and then all of the diaspora Palestinians as Israeli citizens, so that the Jewish people will be like 30% of the population there.
And then they will vote to have a theocracy that will likely want to...
It will wipe them out.
So walk me through this then. I oppose Israel's ethnic cleansing. I acknowledge that there is a world in which the population gets to a point where Israel would, the Jews in Israel would be ethnically cleansed by the population that hates them that they allowed in. That both of these things are potentially completely plausible, right? Why is it bad for me to oppose the ethnic cleansing if I believe there could be, even if I can't give you the solutions, ways to get around this that are not, let's just keep ethnically cleansing people and support an ethno-supremacist?
If you have a better solution, I'm all ears.
Well, the issue is that people seem to be hardcore against the Zionist project, so you call yourself an anti-Zionist. But then, on the flip side of that, if the anti-Zionists were to have it their way, you'd probably see, my guess is, another like mass expulsion, if not a genocide, then at least some kind of mass ethnic cleansing of the Israel state. But I don't think any of the pro-Palestinian people are not going to stand up to say anything about that. So they're basically just like expelled from their country.
Sure, but this is why it's frustrating, because the Project of Zionism said, we're going to establish this country here, and it caused all these downstream
You should listen to the 15 minutes after Destiny left the debate when he was talking to chat. Can link
facts that are now putting us in this position. We're between a rock and a hard place.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's nothing that Soy Pill will say in any capacity that will cause me to change my mind. Okay, because I can't tell what you're expecting me, but...
And I'm saying, this fucking position sucks. I hate that you are now making me choose between ethnic cleansing or not, and death of every Jew, or ethnic cleansing of Israel and all the Jews out of Israel. And therefore, I oppose the project that established it this way in such a way that would give us all these problems. Like,
no one is saying, when you say you're anti-Zionist, that doesn't mean you oppose the project. That means that you oppose the state of Israel today.
But I still do, because of the way they're doing it. Like, it's like, yeah, I don't think this is like, okay, is the solution just forever we're going to be this, ethnically cleansing thing, and we'll never ever not be at war with everyone around us?
I don't know what the solution is today, but when lefties say that they oppose Israel with their chest. They want to defund it. Maybe they want military action for regime change there. That's their type of opposition. But if Arabs were to become the majority in the state of Israel and then were to start massively expelling Jewish people, I don't think lefties would have shit to say about it.
I also have a problem with ethnic cleansing if Arabs are the Jews. So
that's fine. But
it seems as if the Zionist project right now, though, is specifically and hinging on, correct me if I'm wrong, ethnic cleansing, right?
That the what?
The Zionist project necessitates ethnic cleansing right now. It cannot exist without them continuously ethnically cleansing people.
It depends on if you consider the existence of Palestinians in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip ethnically cleansing. Technically, it depends right now on an indefinite occupation of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. But
occupation, ethnic cleansing, kicking people out based on their race.
Not kicking people out, but keeping them in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip.
Okay.
There's 2 million Arabs that live in Israel proper, that aren't in the West Bank or the Gaza Strip.
Yeah.
That they're not getting kicked out of Israel.
Okay, gang.
So Bill, can I ask you one last question? If the people wanting to come into your country or like have political power in your country all want to kill you, and if you don't want those people around, is that supremacist?
If you're doing it on a race-based like discrimination thing, like yeah, like yes, but no. If you're just like, hey, well, I don't know. Do we ideologically
what if
test
all
people
of the dominant
in?
ethnic groups wanting to move in want to kill you, so you don't want any of those dominant ethnic groups? Is that supremacist?
In this very specific this hypothetical, technically yes, because by necessity, your race is the one that doesn't want to kill your race, and your race is better, but not in the same way that it's like I think white people are superior to black people.
Wait, you deciding that your race is better is not them being supremacist. That's kind of you being supremacist, right?
No, but yeah, if you think every other race is awful and they all want to kill me, I'm the good one, then it just by necessity is supremacist, right?
Dev, what did you want earlier? Oh, he muted himself.
I don't even recall anymore, man.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, we are gonna wrap this up a little soon.
Has Dev even participated in this debate?
Because I gotta eat and do a couple.
Oh no, I got it now. I got it back. Right. Okay. Kraut, I think you know more about this than me, so just fill me in real quick. Wasn't there a project in the Soviet Union to make like an alternate Israel in the far east of Russia?
Oh yeah, that was a failure.
Project to make them? You mean a place where they were all like shoot off to? That they all left as soon as the Iron Curtain fell? I mean, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, probably. $5. No, I recall that they set up like
the thing. You mean the thing that we talked about a year ago? So? Because maybe the thing that I did was like anti-Semitism in communist regimes, and most of what I studied was like Czechoslovakia and Poland. And East Germany.
Right.
Okay, let me get this last
what I recall is in the very far east of Russia, they set up like a specific oblast.
That was like the early Stalinist period, so the Stalin's answer to like Israel existing, I guess. But like in most communist regimes, like in East Germany, communists party members who argued that Jews should receive reparations and that Holocaust survivors should be welcomed back, they were put on show trials for Zionism and shot.
Yeah. Let me read the last couple super chats and we're gonna end. I love you all. $5 from Mamba Cloud. Say Stephen points out how Mills is supposed to support the Plattner if she loses. That's how the leftists poison our candidates with a smear of genocide. And then $5 from Snardigan. Is rising populism
Oh, thanks, Magabas.
generally due to institutional failures or an easily deceived public or both? I'm tired of seeing a crumbling and incompetent left. But gang,
both.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you for coming out. Last words from everyone. We're just gonna go around. We're gonna let Kraut go first and let Destiny go last. Kraut,
wait, I'm going first because I love all of you very much.
Okay.
I need to fall asleep. I'm tired. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining. I'm sorry we were all being I love you. Okay, be careful.
Okay, Kraut, go ahead.
Yeah, same. Have a nice day. Thank you for having me on. Maybe in the future again. Bye.
Yeah, hope so.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Soy Pill, last words.
Yeah, we spent 3 hours infighting. I think but we could have done like a whole panel on how to like organize against like ICE and No Kings and Trump
or perhaps
and
a
it
debate
feels
on that on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, God, I hope I have the
No, Magabas found it.
energy for it.
Is there another debate?
Have a backup just in case maybe my brain will explode. This just feels like it's like I agree with like 90 to 99% of the criticisms of the left, and it's like okay, and now the little.
So we'll call game bane in this debate. I mean, every single guest of Live and Learn has to be game bane at some point. Okay, Pisco had his turn, Hutch had his turn, right? Everybody has to have their turn.
Israel thing at the end, but it just feels so fruitless. Like how much time? What do we accomplish here? Who are we excising? Is anything going to happen? Have we found a way to effectively excise, even if we agreed on it? Probably not. So why not spend this time or
That's a rite of passage.
majority of this time actually fighting against the people who are fucking me over every single day, unlike the Hassans who do fuck me over, but luckily don't have nearly so much power to do. So that's all I'm saying.
I get like it's just this like isolated demands of productivity. If I have a debate on how bad Trump is, how much am I actually doing? I don't know, right?
Well, you're not
but
debating MAGA about how bad Trump is. It's how can we effectively fight back against it? That's
but we never ask these of conversations, but we're always asking it of conversations about Hassan. It's just like an isolated demand for productivity, and it's like okay, but.
They said they are going to have Dylan Burns on Live and Learn, finally some good fucking content. Dylan Burns is smart and he's cool, but he's not entertaining, okay? Like, as somebody who looks for Slop, you know what? I like Dylan Burns, but he's good for anybody who is a politics nerd, okay? Good for him.
Anyway, thanks for being here, Soy Pill. Appreciate you hopping on.